You know I gotta secure that bag, and you know I gotta hustle. Y'all know the hustle. Nigga gon' hustle. Hustle. Get that bag. I need my money. I roll the money. I need my money. I roll the money. I need my money. I roll the money. I need my money. My 10K, my 10K, my 10K, my 10K. Y'all know the hustle for that bag.
That's why we shine wherever we go. 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 Lord, Lord. Welcome to the mind of a pothead. On my head, see a young nigga got dressed. We don't give a fuck what the cop said. I'm living a legacy. So even when I die, I am not dead. Nigga, I am not dead. Fuck with me.
Saudi.
You have one job, son.
I know.
You're making me look crazy out here.
What is happening, good people? Welcome to this Monday edition of I Said What I Said. We are live from the What's In It for the Black People Media Studios alongside Toussaint Warner. My name is Herb Howard. Each and every weekday, 3 to 6 p.m., we get together right here with you all, and we discuss issues that are impacting the black community, how those issues impact us as individuals, and also how they impact us as a collective. And along with your help, we talk through many of those issues in the hopes of finding the optimum solutions for how we can overcome said issues. Again, overcome them as individuals, but perhaps more importantly, overcome them as a collective. Thank y'all so very, very much for choosing to be a part of the conversation. We greatly appreciate you all. As always, your input is welcomed. It is valued. It is appreciated. Anything you want to add to the conversation, feel free to do so. We will read through as many of your comments as possible while we go through the show. We would kindly ask you, please take a quick second to share the broadcast, as I will do right now because I haven't done so yet. Please take a quick second to share the broadcast. Share it on your personal page. Share it even within your personal network. Anyone that you feel like would either add value to this conversation or find value in this conversation, we welcome them to be a part of the discussion because we believe that the more like-minded individuals we can get to be a part of it, the better the chances we have of finding the optimum solutions that we spoke about earlier. So please take a quick second, share the broadcast. We would certainly appreciate it. Let people know you be hanging out with us. Don't be ashamed of us. It's cool. We know we don't know how to act sometimes, but y'all don't got to be ashamed of us. Y'all can let people know y'all be rocking with us. Go ahead and share the broadcast.
It's hard at first, but then,
Yeah, we growing people. You know what I'm saying?
You grew on me.
We're an acquired taste. You know what I'm saying? Let people know y'all be rocking with us, man. So please take a quick second to share the broadcast. Hope y'all are feeling very, very good on this here Monday. Hope y'all feeling refreshed. Hope y'all have gotten y'all week off to a productive start. Whatever that production looks like for you is all I'm saying. I ain't saying it should look like this or look like that. If it's been productive for you, then it has been productive. To me, today, production was, I don't know, getting my clothes and stuff together. We'll get into that, man. Anyway, this is I Said What I Said. It is intellectual thuggery at its absolute finest. My name is Herb Howard. His name is Toussaint Warner 2. What's happening, good brother?
What's up, family? Blessed and highly favored. How you?
I'm excellent. Who came with the I am very happy to be here? I love that. I guess BT said that because I see ROW responding to Brandon, so I guess that was BT talking about, I am very happy to be here. That is one of my favorite parts from one of my favorite movies, Coming to America. Hey, man, what are you doing? It's just a halftime show. I know. This is my favorite part of the game, looking at us. Hey,
shout out to Esco, though. Esco be saying that shit, too, when we come in here sometimes.
Yo, Esco is the bomb, and I was so happy when I came in here and heard Esco's voice. Great show, you guys.
Great show, you guys.
Great show, you guys. Sko, what's happening, love?
Hey, guys. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. It is so very good to see your bubbly self, bubbling per usual. You good? I know you've been back, but I ain't seen you since you've been back. We've been limiting.
Very restricted.
We've been
code.
very, very restricted. So you're only in the studio when you need to be in the studio, and we haven't needed to be in the studio at the same time. So
Nah, that's because Big Lavender be trying to save him for herself. That's what it is.
is that what it is?
You know that's what it is.
Big Lavender try to give himself all of the possible benefits.
All the perks.
You know what I'm saying? To keep the Ruthie Moore show viable. But it is what it is, man.
He can't compete. It doesn't really matter.
He
He was
knows
just hating him. He was hating from the sideline just a minute ago.
a minute ago.
You ain't even in the game, man.
As soon as he sees us, he can't help it. He literally.
I don't know where this energy is coming from right now, guys.
That's what we say every time. Every single time. We don't know where it comes from, man. When you think of garbage, think of a king.
I'm very happy to be here.
Hey, man, I'm finna drop random quotes from Coming to America the entire show. Anytime, because it's something relevant for every conversation that we have from Coming to America. So I'm going to drop those all the time, man. Part 2 is coming out in March. I can't wait. I usually don't be liking when they touch classics. I be like, leave classics alone. You can only fuck it up. You cannot improve it. Leave it alone. But some of the clips look like they really tried to stay close to the roots of Coming to America and not get too far away from it. And so,
See, I feel differently. When I look at the clips, I think of it as an Amazon B movie. I'm getting really concerned, G. I saw the Tiana Taylor, like just photographs, behind the scene photographs, and just looking at her character, I was like, come on, dog.
see, I ain't seen all
You on
that.
that bullshit, dog.
I only seen like the barbershop scenes, like all of that classic stuff. All that, Kunta. Like,
Mama, that was Clay. I'm gonna Clay.
hey, you know the boy from Africa.
What's his name?
Oh, what do you know about funny? So, I'm looking forward to the movie, but I feel you, man. I generally don't like when they be touching the classics, man. Like, leave shit alone. Like, don't be bothering that joint. Friday they did pretty good. ROW. She said that's me with Friday After Next. I know that whole movie. I don't know about Friday After Next. I know that one pretty well.
But it's different.
Next Friday,
I
but
grew
but
up.
Friday is the one that I can literally. I'm almost ashamed of it, but I can literally say that movie from the very first line to the very last line. Somebody tell me what the very first line of Friday is right now. Like, somebody on the screen, just tell me what the very, very first line of Friday is. I bet y'all don't get it.
I have no clue.
You don't got no clue what the very first line of Friday is?
The first Friday?
Yeah, Friday. The first Friday.
I'm trying to think back to the opening scene.
The very, very first line of Friday.
I can't remember.
If don't nobody get it real soon, then I'll give y'all. Don't go Googling it. Google it.
I'm
don't,
not Googling it.
Don't put it in the Google machine.
Googleable.
Don't put it in
Is
the
it?
Google machine. Nah. I give y'all a clue.
Okay.
The very first
I like
line
that
comes from Pops. It comes from Pops.
Is it him blowing in the bathroom?
Nah. It don't come from Craig. It comes from Pops. The very first line of Friday comes from Pops.
I want to Google it so bad.
Nah, it ain't Chris Tucker opening the window. Gee, that's later.
It is what it is.
Y'all blowing me. Nah, it's cool. It ain't that obvious. It's Pops when he's asleep. Pops, he's not even woke yet, right? He's not even conscious yet. He's asleep and he goes, "Let me get a 2-piece special, lots of hot sauce and all the fries you can give me. Thank you. He's in his sleep, just dreaming about fucking chicken. Like, anyway, let me get a 2-piece special, lots of hot sauce and all the fries you can give me. Thank you. That's the first line of the fucking movie, man. Hilarious. But anyway, man, hope y'all are feeling good here on this particular Monday, man. We are good to be back in here hanging out with y'all. We are happy to be back in here hanging out with y'all. Hope y'all are happy to be hanging out with us as well. Last time we was here, it was Friday, and we talked to our boy Mark Quinn McDonald. We talked to Q. Q told us about his near miss. People attempted to carjack him last Wednesday evening, and not to make a direct correlation because Q would have been on this regardless. But then this weekend, Sister Africa, Q, they put together this whole initiative for men to come from around the city to meet up and kind of hold post at some of these hot spots where a lot of these carjackings have been happening. And apparently the peak time was like 11 to 1, which kind of surprised me when they came with that data that the peak time was 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. That kind of surprised me, but that was the time. So we got out there. We met up on 52nd and Lake Park, and pretty good turnout. And then you, me, our brother TJ Crawford, and another brother, younger brother named Jeremiah. We posted up at the gas station on 39th and I don't know, 39th, just east of
King Drive.
King, right across the street from Mariano's.
Like Vernon or something like that.
Yeah, right across the street from Mariano's. We posted up right there, and we just hung out, man, for a couple hours, just shooting the proverbial shit, trying to stay warm because we didn't stay in the car. We felt like it'd just be better to get out the car, and plus we just wanted to sit in the car for 2 hours. So we just hopped out the car and stood in the sun and tried to, stay as warm as we could. It was cold that day. It was cold Saturday, but it was cool. We was hanging out. We was chilling, and I think I'm going to hang out there a lot more often because apparently it is not only a hot spot for carjackings. It is a hot spot for some
hot boys.
For some of the finest women in the city to come get their car washed at that spot next door. Jesus Christ. We sitting there, like, at first it was just like, we're not really paying attention to it. It's like, okay, you see one, and like, oh, she's nice looking woman coming out of that car wash. And then you look up and it's like, so is she, and so is she. And it's like, damn, we only been here like 5 minutes and like 7 dimes have pulled out of that car wash. And it's like, yo, we're just going to stand out here all fucking day. It was gorgeous. Which is another conversation that we got to have on the money piece about that damn car wash.
Yeah.
That was bananas.
That was bananas. But shout out to Gardis too, and shout out to Shaka too.
Shout out to Gardis, man. Gardis
both
was
showed up and they came out of the comments of the conversation we was having Friday.
Yeah,
and there was a
said
lot
who
more
else was
people.
there?
Gardis and Shaka was there.
Oh, I didn't see Shaka.
Yeah, so it was a lot more people than we actually know was there.
Yeah.
Apparently they was kind of coming in droves at different times. 'Cause I
Yeah.
saw a lot of photographs from Facebook or whatever of people that I know personally that I didn't see when we was out there before we broke out. Before we went to our specific location.
Yeah, I saw some pictures and stuff from people that was out there that I knew that I didn't necessarily see, but I also wasn't really out there, on that. I mean, once we got to because we initially met up over on East 37th Street at the Marcus Garvey Center, and we did like a little, a little briefing where Q was kind of giving out some instructions and some directions and whatnot, some do's and don'ts or whatever, and making sure our communications was solid with the walkie-talkie apps and all that. But then we left from there, and then once we got over to the main meetup spot on 52nd in Lake Park, that's where you had all the news cameras, all the 257s, and it was just this. It's always this interesting thing for people to be just jockeying to be in front of cameras, and meanwhile, I'm like, nigga, no, like no, I'm not trying to talk. She's like, can I just get a word? Can I just ask a few questions? No, shorty, all these people can't wait to talk to you. Talk to one of them. Like, I don't want to talk to you.
I feel that, and I used to be like that, but then they go grab the dude with the plastic bag on his head who don't know what the fuck going on.
Yeah,
and that bothers me too. So like, what do you do?
It's like it's a catch-22. Like, I don't want to be out on the camera, right? I'm not trying to be the person that's out on the camera to just like, let me talk. First of all, it wasn't my initiative, right? I'm there in support, and so I don't want to do it. But then you're absolutely right. I also don't want some numbskull all over the evening news talking about the initiative that we was doing. Like, it's like, nah, I don't want to talk to y'all, but I don't want this nigga talking to y'all either.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so what do I do? I still just didn't do it. I just set it out. But, you had the usual faces out there, the T.O. Hardemans and whatnot, showing up. I won't say,
So, but in that same vein, it ain't just the numbskull too. I said the plastic bag guy, but oftentimes, we had that conversation about leadership in general.
Yeah.
Right. Those most worthy of leading usually aren't the ones who come or answer to the call.
Oh, numbskulls. Just like we talk about with the Jay-Z's and the T.I.'s, and you aren't as qualified to speak about this as somebody else who's more immersed in that actual issue. You just have a platform, or you're in front of the camera. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, like, nah.
But in that same vein, though, trying to operate in that spirit of audacity, though, in that vein, I'm not allowing for those people to get in front of the cameras no more.
Yeah.
If I can have the option.
No, you're right.
You know what I mean?
You're right, and you're right. I'm glad you said that. I received that, and I will take that into account in future such occasions. Q even asked me like to do the press conference and interviews and shit before we left the things. Like, Herb, you can do it. I don't want to do it. I'm like, nah. Like, I appreciate that I have the skill set to do it, but I'm good. Like, that ain't,
It was some interesting backlash from that
liked
whole
Philip Jackson
weekend event, though.
Press conference. Yeah, what was that, though? the backlash from that event.
There was a lot of kind of detractors online talking about how goofy we were for standing out there.
Really?
You know? And I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. You know, when I left there, I did some personal reflecting. You know what I mean? Because me and you was having a conversation out there just about the capital that was flowing through that gas station the amount of time that we was there, right? And if you remember specifically, there was a moment in time when the gas station owner asked me to move my car off his property.
Yeah, I remember.
You know what I mean?
Hey, Shannon.
So I'm thinking in my head, like, man, we're standing here protecting our people against our people. That's one. While this foreigner is in our neighborhood, our
Getting
land,
rich.
getting wealthy, right, off our people and our ignorance. You know, and it just was like really for me when I left there, like it was a moment of self-reflection and it was humbling, but it was also like, damn, this shit just seems hopeless, right?
Yeah.
So you take a day of revenues from the earnings of just that gas station, and I'm going to bet you $1 to a dime they own that car wash too, and that car wash, you take the earnings from just one day for both of those entities.
Right.
And I can guarantee you that the 200 carjackings that we've had so far since January started, if we was to reinvest that in earnings in those children's pockets, because they are children, you wouldn't have no carjackings.
Big facts.
You know what I mean? So it just kind of, I don't know, man, it just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. In one vein, you know, I'm absolutely always going to stand on the front lines for my people no matter what. But then just looking at the psychological damage that we have dealt with and how we respond to it, like even just standing there. You know, one sister thanked us, but the rest of them, it was people trying to sell us weed. It was it was really different.
We did get a loud.
Yeah, it was really different. You know what I mean? Very not very much acknowledgement outside of the one sister. You know, and not that we looking for acknowledgement. It's just I'm just being observant of the moment.
Of what's going on, right?
You know what I mean? And again, just in those 2 hours, man, we saw thousands and thousands of dollars leave our community in 2 hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
While we're protecting our people and we don't really grasp the wealth of this concept or the depth of this concept in a lot of ways. But the reason he showed us out here carjacking is because of poverty.
Yeah, but you saw that car wash that we were standing next to. It was bananas.
Cracking.
Not at not one point while we were out there for 2 hours did that door get a chance to come all the way down.
It couldn't even close.
You know what I'm saying?
It couldn't even close.
It was a steady line of cars to come. Not one. It's one of those automated car washes. So once one car pull out, if there ain't another car coming right behind it, the door closes.
So that's
not
about
one point with the door closed.
Probably 75 to 100 cars.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Another observation I had about that is that out of that 75 to 100 cars, it was only about 10 to 15 guys.
Oh, they were all. That's what I was saying earlier.
Right, which also speaks to a level of poverty and how it's concentrated. Like, you know, dudes don't even have cars now. We don't think of it like that, but these are the breaks. You know what I mean? These are the outcomes of poverty.
I agree with that. I would add a small caveat to that particular point, and just being that, you know, brothers, they'll do one of two things: wash their own car, or like go to like a hand car wash. Sister just pull her joint through that thing, like, let me just get the automatic joint, I'm out of here. And so that's just a small piece, but I do agree with you, and I did notice that as well, because after a while I started looking like, when am I going to see a dude driving a car?
It was really rare.
I don't know that I saw one. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I don't know that I saw one.
I saw like 3.
Okay, because at some point I started looking, and I don't remember seeing one. I saw a whole bunch of women.
And I fully hear you.
I saw the one dude who was over there like wiping his car down. He had like a yellow Challenger on some black 20s or something. It was cold. I saw him wiping his car down in there.
And I agree with you in regards to the hand car wash, and I agree with you. I know we'll wash our own car, but just reference point, the weather, it still was freezing cold. Yeah. Right? So ain't too many people gonna hand wash nothing.
Niggas don't get cars.
And 2, it was that even though it was freezing cold, it was kind of a sunny day.
It was.
So those of us who do have nice whips and you know,
gonna
just
come out and wash it. Yeah.
We want to get it clean.
Except niggas like me, because
my
car
both of us had that conversation
filthy,
about
right?
like we could care less, right? But my point is, we just didn't see any brothers coming through. And even if it wasn't no brothers coming through, the amount of sisters that came through, where the brothers that, you know, are dealing with them, they wash their car for them.
Exactly.
It just, the energy was just really different. So it speaks volumes to me.
I agree.
You know, it speaks volumes to me. So.
No, that was a very real point. At some point, a police officer came past, black female cop came past, and she waved, she spoke.
But that's only, she doubled back. She thought we was out there doing, that's true. She definitely thought you was handsome.
She
that's
doubled
the only
back
reason
because I was handsome.
Absolutely.
She was going.
What was I thinking?
Come on, Tim.
She was going eastbound. She was going
Can't turn
eastbound.
it off.
I'm very happy to be here.
She was going eastbound on 39th Street. Tell me you didn't love me. You thought I was a goat herder. And I'll never bother you again. She was going eastbound on 39th. She saw us standing there. She hit a U-turn, flipped back around.
She did do the super U-turn.
And she happened to hit it as I was literally walking to my car. I was going to my car to get something or do something. I was like, nah, I'm not going to walk away and go to my car now.
But be clear, though.
I'm
You
like,
stopped because they didn't hit that U-turn. They hit that U-turn thinking we was on some shit.
Oh, 100%. I'm bullshitting about whatever.
Whatever.
No, but no, seriously, yes, they thought we was on bullshit. They're like, who is these niggas standing here and just in the, I don't know, in the entrance of the gas station. So she definitely doubled back, did a little U-turn, then she flipped around. At that point, she saw how handsome I was. Then she was like, okay, let me
That's when
not
she
bother
noticed.
them. Let me wave and speak and smile.
Oh, why does Lisa get all the good ones?
This is too goddamn much.
That's a good one. I like that one. We dropping nothing but coming to America quotes where relevant. Don't y'all be dropping no random ass quotes. They got to be relevant to what's going on at the time. And come with your best coming to America quote.
Yeah, but there was this online backlash, and it was mainly from brothers.
Yeah, I'm interested in that. Oh, it's from brothers.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, about how the guys that was out there was foolish. You know, I wouldn't be out there unless I had no gun. Them dudes is this, them dudes is that. It's a publicity stunt. It's this, that, and the third. And it just made me think. It made me ponder, where are we as men?
Yeah, that's real.
You know what I mean?
I'll tell you what it was, G. Like, it wasn't coming from a place of like hate and just like disrespect or really thinking that we're goofies, right? That wasn't what it was at all. That's the extent of their vocabulary to explain what they're dealing with, but that wasn't what it was. What it was fear. Like, y'all fucking scared, and we aren't fucking scared. Like, it's just our people, G. And I don't care if it's my 16-year-old little brother, 19-year-old little brother, 22-year-old little cousin. I don't really you don't scare me, fam. I see you as a little brother, little cousin. Like, you don't scare me, fam. Like, if anything, I'm like, yo, you wilding right now. Chill. Get your ass in the car. Go ahead about your business. Shorty, like, I ain't scared, but they are afraid. And so because they are afraid, they going to tell you that you should be afraid. You know what I'm saying? My son works. Good one, Gino.
No, that's mine.
Yeah? Oh,
Yeah.
Well, I seen G come with it. I didn't hear you come
Gino
with it.
came with it. My son works. He got his own money.
Right.
I mean, he got his own
When I say
money.
He got his own money. He got his own money. That motherfucker. He treated that man. He said, $1 million American dollars. What? You ain't got enough money to buy my daughter off. Very well then, $2 million. So disrespectful. But no, they were coming from a place of fear, bro. And so that's why they say, oh, y'all crazy as hell for being standing out there. I ain't standing out there with less than you ain't standing out there with nothing, fam. With not a goddamn thing because you are scared. And, I'm not finna sit here and call you coward or none of that. But you are afraid. That is the reason why you are not showing up. Because you're afraid. It's the very same reason you won't engage them like they stand on your block. They stand in the middle of your block. They stand on the corner of your block. You won't engage them because you're afraid. And I don't really have it in me to be afraid of people. It's the same thing we talk about I don't know. Love and fear can't occupy the same space. You know what I'm saying? Like, love and fear can't occupy the same space. I love you. Hell no, I'm not scared of you, fam. Like, it's just not the same thing. You know what I'm saying? If it's gonna be what it's gonna be, it's gonna be what it's gonna be. So I wouldn't change a thing about it. I'm gonna show up every time that the situation calls for us to show up, and ain't nothing to be scared of. Like, these are motherfucking people, fam. You can't, and if you are, then just shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you scared, just be quiet, fam. Go sit back there and hope everything is cool.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. I felt vulnerable out there, though. And it wasn't in regards to, like, my physical safety.
Mm-hmm. What did you mean?
Again, I'm talking about just sitting there and looking at the math. It's one thing to have
Talking about the collective vulnerability.
Yeah, the collective vulnerability,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's one thing to have an understanding of the kind of money that flows. It's another thing to have an understanding of where we are in regards to, like, poverty.
Yeah.
But sitting there for 2 hours, like, who the fuck sits at the gas station for 2 hours? Nobody does that,
Yeah.
right? So, but to sit there for 2 hours and see how much wealth changed hands in those 2 hours. Like, it was blowing my mind. There was a moment in time when I stopped Herb and I said, man, you see how many people getting their car washed?
Yeah, you did.
What you think the average car wash costs?
You did.
How much? You see this door don't close?
You did the quick math.
We doing the math. Like, this
Yeah, you did.
is disgusting.
You did that quick math of what they have to be bringing in at an hourly rate. Now, obviously, this is a Saturday afternoon. It's peak hours. Boom. This is prime time for their car washing. But that being said, there was a steady line of people coming in and out of that car wash. Also, the gas pumps were never empty.
Never empty.
They were never
There's
empty.
people waiting in
they
line
were
to get
waiting
to the pump.
The gas pumps were never empty, and there were never less than 5, 6 to 10 people shopping
Inside the
inside
station.
the store, buying little goods and whatnot. So they definitely checked a big bag in the 2 hours that we were sitting there.
Yeah, man. And the whole moment, again, the juxtaposition of why we're there,
Yeah.
right?
Well.
We're here to protect these consumers
Yeah.
from their children,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
From their children, while they take their resources to someone else.
Mm-hmm.
That shit hurt my heart, man.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't get that shit off my mind once we left. It was legitimately it just anchored into my spirit, and I was sitting there like, this is
Where are the black?
cyclical and hopeless.
Where are the black gas stations? Where are the black car washes?
Where's the black identity, right? So think about it in totality. We're there to protect, and when I'm saying the vast majority of the consumers on both ends, whether it be the car wash or the gas station, were mostly women, right?
Yeah.
So we're there protecting you against your children, your sons mostly. You know what I mean? Where are the men in our community, right? Why are we a laughing stock? Why is this some shit to be seen as comical or goofy at any level, right? And why are we taking our resources and just handing them over when the reason we're standing here protecting you from your children is because we don't have no resources?
Exactly.
It just really hurt me, man. It really did, and I struggled to fully like grasp that concept over that amount of time.
Yeah, and ROW says all that money and no security. Robin, secure who? Right? Their security for what they value, right? You walk in there, it's the bulletproof glass to protect their money, but they don't give a fuck about the people who's buying that shit. Their customer base is not a group of people that they care about. They got a gas station in the middle of the low end. They don't give a shit about them people. So they're not spending no money to secure them, right? They got some cluck out there to sweep up.
But even that,
and they send the cluck sweeping up to go say, "Hey."
The cluck that they sent to tell me to move
exactly,
my car.
Exactly.
The one black employee that they're gonna have, the one neighborhood employee they're gonna have, is a horrible representation of black masculinity.
Yeah, $5 an hour under the table, some silly shit.
We've been weakened to that point though, right? So when I'm looking at the totality of the scene, man, it's like it's just disheartening.
Yeah, no,
it's just disheartening.
It's always disheartening, bro. But then it's just you take that step back, you take that deep breath, and you say, well, I got two choices, right? I can become another person who is not engaged, or I can just keep pushing. And those are our only choices. And if we all become somebody who's not engaged, we're facing certain extinction in this country. And so we must remain engaged. We must keep pushing forward. We must keep finding our reason to continue to show up, even in the face of that despair, even in the face of that hopelessness. Because there was a lot of it, man. Like we could have this whole show could really just be about that whole thing, because it touches so many things, man. It touches the money, it touches the poverty, it touches the violence, it touches the entire experience. A dude walked. This gentleman was probably at least 60 years old. Right, he was at least 60 years old. You could tell he was some type of like handyman type of guy around the neighborhood or whatever. Had on his overalls, work boots. You know, he had the whole look that I fixed shit. But there was the Mariano's right there across the street. He walks up to Q. He's on the phone, right? He's on speakerphone with somebody. He walks up to Q, and he's trying to find out if there is, what was it, soup or salad, some shit. He was trying to find out if he can get it out of Mariano's, right? And it's like, bro, that's a grocery store, right? Like, yes, you can get a salad out of a soup. I don't remember what it was. But he's trying to tell the person on the phone that, okay, I think I found a place where I can get it, right? And so he's asking Q, and he's like, yeah. And so he can't even articulate this back to the dude. So he's telling Q to talk to, but he's like, it's COVID. First of all, he's in Q face like that. He's holding his phone all up in Q face, and Q like, yo, like he like, tell him. He like, yeah, you can get it out of Mariano's. Like, fam, get your phone out of my face. But Yeah, it was the whole thing was just wild as hell. The whole entire experience was wild as hell. From the clerk working there to the car wash to the older guy not knowing what the grocery store does or what's in there to the young sisters that was, I don't know what they were doing. They were changing some fluid in their car. I'm like, they don't know what the hell they doing. Let's go help. But then they kind of got together. They was cool. The whole thing was just. It was just you sit at a place like that for 2 hours. You see
think
a
about
whole
this
bunch
too,
of shit.
though, right? The bulk of the carjackings in this city are happening in that Bronzeville area, right? Bronzeville, Washington Park, Hyde Park area, right? And what I learned the other day, because I did not know this, is that the gas station on 47th and Woodline is one of the most active spots, right?
Right across the street from that
Right across
Moscow,
from the mosque.
whatever it is. Yeah.
Right. Now that resonates because when I do get gas in the city, it's close to the crib. That's where I go.
Yeah, that gas station
You know what I
ratchet as
mean?
hell. Always has been.
Now, for a long time now, I've been
$1 million homes across the street, but
even
that gas
in
station
regards
is
to,
ratchet
like,
as fuck.
my old lady, I go gas her car up, I go wash her car, so she ain't really got the need necessarily to jump out the car
Yeah.
to go to the gas station.
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? So in a lot of ways, that secures her. And COVID, she ain't moving around like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I was thinking about that gas station, the one we was at, the gas station on 47th. I told you privately, like I felt like I was, they tried to get up on me a few weeks ago.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I happened to have my pistol on me that day, right? And I was just telling you the story or whatever. And
Yeah.
long story short, I got up out of there just because my intuition said, get your ass up out of there.
Good.
You know what I mean? But that gas station specifically, I avoid. And I avoid it because of the energy. But think about this in regards to like Bronzeville, Washington Park, Hyde Park area, right? When I think about the bulk of the carjackings being in that area, what I really think about is that this is the response or reflection of the black bourgeois, white gentrification, and this disposable black poverty.
Say that.
Now think about the West Side,
Say that.
right? From bird's eye view, the West Side is more dilapidated than the South Side.
Sure.
Right? It has a brand of being more impoverished than the South Side. It has a brand of having more drug usage than the South Side. Specifically, if we just take, and the West Side is so much smaller than the South Side too. So if we just take the West Side and compare it to that Bronzeville, Washington Park, Hyde Park area, those look like different planets, right? But you ain't getting these carjackings on the West Side. Right?
Yeah.
You're not getting these carjackings on the West Side.
Nah.
But here's the logic I came up with. Because dope is still moving on the West Side. Right? So there's an economy for those
To support that black
downtrodden people. Right? So now when these black bourgeois come out in the upward like, ooh, I feel unprotected. Where were you when the legislation was happening to shit on these poor people?
I was championing it.
You was championing it, right?
Yeah.
But check game, just like you championed the crime bill with Joe Biden and then reelected his ass as president,
yes.
this is going to be a new issue.
Same shit, dog.
And they're going to champion another bill
We're too
to
short-sighted.
lock these babies up for 15, 20 years. And here's another thing attached to this carjacking
short-sighted.
conversation that not very many people was talking about. Now, I got a police partner who was out there with us the other day, at least at the initial meeting.
Yeah.
And I ran this by him, and I usually trust what he say. But again, he don't have the bulk of information either.
Right.
Some of the shit, I think we got to kind of curve and take it with a grain of salt. I was talking to a woman, and she was like, yeah, I got carjacked too. But when I was talking to my boy, and he was telling a story about a woman he was talking to that got carjacked. And she was like, yeah, I turned my car on, left it running, I ran back in the house, and I came out, it was gone. Your car got stolen.
Right.
That's not a carjacking.
No.
But if she reports it as a carjacking, it goes in, or if we want to heighten fears around carjacking.
Or even
Right.
at the precinct, right?
Or at the precinct. And here's another thing to think about when we think about these carjacking incidents. What you're hearing is, I got carjacked, but not very many people you're hearing got hurt. You had the fireman who got shot.
Right.
But the vast majority of the other conversations is kind of like, yeah, they pulled me up out my whip. And I'm not justifying it, right? But the word carjacking has a different emotional attachment to you than I got my car stolen. You know what I mean? And most of these cars are also being recovered, right? There's a dumping spot on the low end because that's where the vast majority of them are getting stolen anyway. So they're dumping them on Federal where the projects used to be, and they're dumping them in the little apartments on 39.
Lake Meadows.
Lake Meadows, right? And what they're finding in most instances, the only thing that's usually missing from the car is like little light shit like change and chargers and like these people are and they babies because there was somebody leaked photographs of some of the carjacking suspects, and it was like 8 of them. Now I don't even want to say suspects. Some of the people have been caught carjacking. I don't know convicted. I don't know if they convicted, and I don't know what the word is. But not one of them out of the 8 was over 16, and some of the pictures have been blacked out because you can't show a picture of a child under 13 years old. Right. Which means that there was kids that 10, 11 carjacking these people. Yeah. Right? Now, in their minds, and this I'm not validating or justifying it. Sure. You know what I mean? Sure. But a 10-year-old, a 12-year-old, an 11-year-old, 13-year-old, something else is wrong with that child for them to be moving like that, for one of them to have a gun. Who's giving them access to a gun, right? And then when you're thinking about how they moving, in a lot of ways, it's like, I got a gun, but I don't got bus fare. Like, I'll take your whip to get, because that's what they're doing. They're driving it from one location to the next location and getting out of it. They're not taking nothing. It's nothing broken. I just needed to get to where I need to go. I'm not justifying it at all, too. I want to be very clear about that, right? But think about this. I'm 11 years old. I got a burner and can't get from 39th to 63rd.
Yeah, dog, because it's easier to get a gun than it is to get a bus card or a library card for that matter.
And I'm 10 years old. Shit's disheartening, man. And it goes back to that vulnerability. Like, what, again, to the Maasai warrior tribe of Africa, the greetings is, how are the children? And if you cannot answer that in a positive way, then your community
children are well.
Is fucked.
Until the answer to that question is all the children are well, we have a lot of work to do.
Then it's on us, though, right? It's on the onus of the responsibility is on us as the elders of that community, right? And then too, we got to pay attention to the commentary, right? You see the commentary like lock their parents up and this, that, and the third. What I want us to start to grapple with and start to understand is that you.
What makes you think they?
No, you they parents. I'm they parents. Everybody is they fucking parents. And until we get to that point of understanding, man, miss me.
What makes you think that the vast majority of them have healthy parents?
And that's kind of what I mean. Like, see, we
you know what I mean?
We think of shit like cancer. We think of this like a cancer. Yeah. But we only deal with the cancer from where it's metastasized at. Right? If the root is dysfunctional,
too late.
The branch is gonna be dysfunctional. There's no way around it.
Period.
And we're dealing with generation after generation and generation after of dysfunction. But because we as a collective hasn't seen the children as our children.
Until you fully understand white supremacy, what it is and how it works.
Everything you think you understand.
Everything else you think you understand will only confuse you. So when you look at this shit and all you see is shorty stealing cars, you're missing it. Sure, that is happening, and I'm not telling you to ignore it. I'm not telling you to accept it, and I'm certainly not excusing it. Right? But if that is all you see, you are missing the bigger picture here. Even if you go back and say, well, their parents is fucked up. What about their parents? You're still missing the bigger picture here, right? Their parents are fucked up for a reason. These shorties are out here desperate and starving for a reason, right? And until you trace that reason back to its root, you are not going to address it. Now, if you can sit up here and say, well, how long are we supposed to blame it on white folks? And how long are we supposed to talk about white supremacy? And how long are we supposed to talk about slavery? Until all the children are well, goddammit. That's how fucking long.
It's that simple, bro.
That's how fucking long.
It's that simple.
Until we can answer that question with that answer, then we go back to the damn root because that is the cause of it. That's what's happening. And so while we are dealing with the symptoms, sure, get some Kleenex and wipe your nose. But you better treat the fucking virus that's causing this, or your nose will continue to run.
Period.
So we're going to show up. We're going to wipe our nose. We're going to show up at the gas station. But understand that ain't shit but a nose wiping, okay? Because when we fucking gone or we run out of Kleenex, the nose going to keep damn running, all right, until we get to the cause of the symptom.
Period.
That's
man,
just,
look, I grew up on 95th Street, man. Bob Walton taught me how to change the rotors on my car. That's not my parent. That's not a family member. He just had a house full of daughters, and he saw a little boy that he took a liking to. Right? Tail Hyde taught me how to swim. Not my father. Don't even live on my block. Ex-Olympian. Saw something in me, said, I'm going to teach you how to do this. Right? And I can go down the line of just people who invested in me in some kind of way. You know what I mean? Because that's what community looks like.
That's what it looks
and
like.
And that, be clear, it was dope fiends in my neighborhood. It was dope houses in my neighborhood. It was gangbangers in my neighborhood. It was guns in my neighborhood. We dealt with everything that every Chicago neighborhood has to deal with. And this is no different than the neighborhoods you come from. But what I'm saying is, eons, generation after generation after generation, right? So like I said, it was dope in my neighborhood. It was guns in my neighborhood. Now they become the Bob Waltons. They become the Tail Hides, and nobody's looking at it from a collective vantage point. It's just this very selfish vantage point.
Right.
Me and mines and everybody behind this door. But be clear, when there's dysfunction outside that door, there's only a matter of time before that dysfunction shows up at your front door. It is your responsibility to step outside that front door and become inactive. And I don't just mean active like us standing in front of in front of the gas station. That's some man shit. That's some warrior shit. I don't even expect every man to be out there, because if you ain't a warrior, I don't want
That
you
ain't your
next to me.
space.
I don't want you
Please
next
don't
to me.
stand next to me.
Don't stand next to me.
If when it crack, you finna
Period.
like don't give me no false sense of security, fam.
Period.
Beat it.
Beat it.
Go
right?
go do something else productive for the move.
But everybody has a role.
Absolutely.
And when we start looking at how we've been moving, when we have this collective celebration around the Biden-Kamala Harris election, it just further clarifies for me that we don't fully grasp what's going on. Because those people were the purveyors of some of the legislation that created the outcomes that we are seeing today. And you are cheering for them.
Say that.
Because she's a part of a organization that most of you aren't even a part of.
Say that.
Right? But you find it's this talented 10th kind of aspirational belief.
Say that.
You know what I'm saying? I'm a part of one of them fucking organizations. That's true shit. You ain't, I very rarely acknowledge that shit. Cause it means that much to me. It don't mean shit, bro. It don't mean shit. Right? So that aspirational, elitist, and it's all based in our own self-esteem. Right? We lack this self-esteem, so we base our self-esteem in our proximity to whiteness.
That's real.
How close can I get to this shit to make me valuable?
That's real.
While your root, your tree is crumbling from the bottom up.
That's very real.
You know what I mean? And it just, again, and all this just sat on me in front of that goddamn gas station. It just did, man. It just was no way to get away from it from me.
It was a perfect time for that to set in on you. It was a perfect time to reflect. It was a perfect time to observe. It was a perfect time to kind of just assess the situation. And again, not the immediate situation. That's the easy thing. That's the nose wiping, right? Assess the whole entirety of the situation. And when you do that, it can become disheartening. And it takes some work to kind of get out of that hole again. Like, oh shit, I'm in the dumps for like 2 days. Like I can't even fucking, you know what I mean? But ultimately there becomes another need for you to step up again. And then what's interesting about that, at least in my personal experience, it is that very thing that kind of leaves me disheartened. When I get back out there, that is also the same thing that kind of reinvigorates me. Right, once I get back out, it's like, okay, this is what it's about. This is what it's for. The next time I bump into one of those shorties and get to have a 4-minute interaction with them, and we get to some space, right? We ain't changing nobody's life in 4 minutes, but we get to some space where there's this look in his face, like, damn, this motherfucker really give a shit about whatever I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? And I mean them, like thinking like, this old dude really give a shit about what I'm talking about, and it's like, yeah, I give a shit about what you're talking about, bro. I fucking love you. Like, you know what I'm saying?
But another thing that's interesting about it, too, is people outside of us look at this shit as lightning in the bottle. Like, damn, they did that? Like, it's amazing to them, right?
Yeah, and the only reason you know that happened was because it was Sister Africa's and Q's initiative that was a public thing. But it ain't.
They only know
it
about it
ain't a
because they
one-off.
got news coverage, too.
That's what I'm saying.
Let me say this, right? So the other day, and this speaks to our level of disparity, too, because the next day I was in an Arab store that's close to my house because we don't even have no other fucking options. Right? And this is a cool little Arab dude. Again, I'm not mad at you because you Arab. I'm mad at us for
I'm mad at the
losing.
construct.
Yeah, the construct is so off, right? So I go into the little Arab corner store. Dude knows me, knows my family, knows my children. And he was like, man, brother, I saw you in the news. Like, super excited.
Right.
You know,
Right.
what was y'all doing? Talk to my son. Tell him what you do. Get him involved. You know, that kind of. He's talking about get him involved
Right.
in the shit that's happening in our community.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
That shit irked the fuck out of me.
Why?
Because we don't move like that. And then when I'm getting back to the point of lightning in the bottle, right? And I don't want to diminish what happened this weekend or diminish the initiative at all. But you and I know specifically We did this over an amount of years in another corridor of the city, right? And we took that corridor of the city from being the third most violent corridor in this city to being like the 20th most violent corridor in this city, right? And we had initiatives where this is just the brainchild of us. Like nobody, no funding, we just was sick of the bullshit.
All we did was show up, though.
All we did was show up.
Like, as effective as it was, we ain't beat nobody ass. Like, you know what I'm saying?
But I want you to keep in mind of
love.
who showed up, though, right? There was a commitment against, which is really our peer group at this point, is our core group, which is maybe 10
just
to
our
12
fucking friends
guys.
at this point.
Right, it's like maybe 10 to 12 guys, right?
Right.
And then the other people that was consistent were usually the most downtrodden old heads of that community, the alcoholics, even some dope fiends.
Big facts.
Coming out with us in those initiatives,
Big
right?
facts.
Then there was other pushes where we would do like little events around the area to galvanize some more upwardly mobile black people. And they would come to the room. I remember specifically there was one time when we had a room of about 300 black upwardly mobile men, and that shit is amazing because that shit don't happen, right? The minute you ask them for resources, what happened?
They don't got it. They come with some. They come with some inauthentic story of themselves. First of all, right? And so what they do is they take this long roundabout way of blaming the ills of our communities on these shorties. And it's like, fam, you don't know where they come from. You don't know. You don't have no experience with that. And one of two things is true. Either no, you don't, and so you can't really fucking relate. Or two, you absolutely do, but now you become a fucking liar because you've achieved some semblance of success. And so you come back to them lying about the realities of their circumstances, and then they can't fucking hear you because they know you're fucking lying, right? You got to keep it a buck with them, or they gonna cut you off as they fucking should. But it's interesting to see that because what happens is, bro, you know what I really think it is, dog? I really think it's a guilt thing. I really think it's a guilt thing that when they see a bunch of black people who give a fuck about them showing up and doing things for them. And so we got a whole bunch of questions. Every time we was out, we get a bunch of questions. Oh, who are y'all? What y'all doing? We ain't fucking nobody. We is you. And we just out here giving a fuck. That's it. What organization is this? None. Just a bunch of people who give a fuck. Some people belong to some organizations and, you know what I'm saying, they represent whatever they're going to represent. But no, we just people. And people were coming out their window, what y'all doing? Giving a fuck. You want to come down here and give a fuck? Come on. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're more than welcome to give a fuck if you like. You know what I'm saying? But I think it's that guilt. And so when they see people showing up in those spaces where they have not, then all they want to do is convince you that you wasting your time. And so, man, y'all wasting y'all time. These shorties hard-headed. They too far gone. Everybody can't go. You got to cut some dead weight. Shut the fuck up, sir. Okay? Yeah, everybody can't go. Yeah, we got to cut some dead weight. We're going to take as many as we can with us because we don't really have the luxury of just cutting dead weight like that, right? We're going to get everybody, as many people as we can. And ultimately, as much as I was happy with what you said about seeing, you know, the downtrodden people in the community, the winos or the clucks, whomever it may be, disenfranchised elders, I was elated when a couple weeks into the initiative, you start to see young people out there on the consistent.
There was some shorties out there with us. That's
out
true.
there looking for us. Man, I thought y'all wasn't finna show up tonight. No, you knew we were showing up, but I was waiting for y'all. I was waiting. What we doing tonight? What we doing? And we did everything from put together talent shows for them where they can come and sing and rap and dance. We held ciphers on the corner, hopping in rap ciphers and goofy shit, like just
food giveaways,
just hanging out,
school
just
giveaways
showing up,
for book
showing
bags,
love,
just
like,
giving a damn.
A lot of fake news about the COVID vaccine, just false information. So our station has joined the Protect Chicago team to help share the truth about the vaccine and dispel the rumors. I hear all the time, I've already had COVID. I don't need the vaccine. You're wrong. Get the facts by visiting the What's in It for the Black People Media page on Facebook and www.gov/COVIDVax. That's COVIDVAX. We're in this together, Chicago.
Introducing your trusted source for high-quality Black emojis, better known as Blackmoji. We believe Black is beautiful, and that beauty should be reflected in the digital market. Now there is an app that does just that, starting with Black Greek letter organizations. Blackmoji D9 offers more than an emoji app. It is a cultural experience of Black excellence. Download the app in the Apple or Google Play Store to access a specially curated catalog of emojis representing the Divine Nine. Use the emojis to celebrate Black Youth events, acknowledge current events, support social causes, and learn about esteemed Black group members who blaze the trail of Black history. A portion of every subscription goes toward a scholarship fund specifically for members of Black group-led organizations to help keep the legacy alive. Download the Blackmoji app today.
What's up, good people? If you didn't tune in to the last I Said What I Said, here's what you missed. This legendary journalist, man, his list of accomplishments goes on and on. He's an author, a brother. He is someone that, for me, I've looked up to literally since I was about 11 or 12 years old. And this was really before I knew his name. I mean, I knew what Slam Magazine was. That's kind of what you did as a shorty. But I didn't even know that he wrote for it, right? And I had read plenty of his articles, but I didn't know that the dude who I saw every morning on my way to school was Scoop Jackson. Eastside crazy, man. So, in growing up over there where I grew up, there wasn't a whole lot of positive male representation. I would walk down the block past his house every morning. I would see him coming out of his driveway, right? He had this coldest truck, black Pathfinder, if I recall. I would see him, and he would always just take a couple minutes to chop it up, and it would just be me or, a couple of my guys just walking to school. And again, over there wasn't a whole lot of representation of positive black males. I don't know that you were aware of the difference that you were making on us at the time.
I don't want to say I don't believe in the concept of giving back. I feel if you give back, that means that you left. So my whole purpose in never leaving the same neighborhood I came up in is that I never gave back. You just give. I would hope that I would have impact on what your everyday lives were. I could be the one dude in the neighborhood that stopped and spoke to you, which I think is really important.
Yeah.
Because young individuals in black neighborhoods, especially young men, get ignored very quickly.
All the time.
They get dismissed. Right. They get minimized. And the one thing, I still do it to this day. Say what's up to everybody, especially young brothers, because we have a tendency not to acknowledge one another. And I've never lived that life. My hope was that, us having the small time and me just being there and you all, just developing a relationship with me and me developing a relationship with you would have at least a small impact on you. It would give you like, there's some decent people around me. There's something I can look forward to maybe. If I don't have anybody else in this neighborhood that I can talk to that can identify with me,
right,
I can ring Scoop's doorbell. You got a good memory. It was a black Pathfinder too. You good.
Coldest truck I had seen. I was like, yo, that's raw. Cuz balling. I said what I said. Urban 2, right here on What's in It for the Black People Media.
Another Christmas.
Welcome back, family. Welcome back. We are live from the What's in It for the Black People Media Studios alongside Tucson One. My name is Herb Howard. This is I Said What I Said every single weekday 3 to 6 p.m. We are right here with you guys, and we are having conversations about issues impacting the black community. Thank y'all so much for choosing to be a part of the conversation. Thank y'all for sticking through. The whole system shut down on us, man. I saw, I think Adrian said it was my fault. It wasn't really my fault this time. And now Ron ain't here, so I can't blame it on Lil Ron. The thing just dropped on us, but it's cool. It popped right back in, so we all good. Thank y'all for sticking through that, man. That's a vibe right there, Esco. That let us know Boys to Men, best version, first of all.
Right.
But that's a whole vibe right there. For real.
I didn't get to spend Christmas with you guys.
I know. It's all good.
I would have
though.
killed it.
I don't know about that, but you know, I was definitely just killing it right now. I know y'all couldn't hear my mic wasn't on, but I was definitely killing
That
it.
boy good.
I was definitely sexual chocolate.
I'm just glad it wasn't the Boys to Men
Sexual
version. That's all.
chocolate. Hey man, I gotta acknowledge that Brandon said something that was hilarious when we was talking about the cop doubling back and coming back over there, and I was like, she came back because I was handsome. He said, no, she doubled back because she was like, who the fuck is this asshole from Coming to America? When Samuel L. Jackson, when he walked up on him, like,
In McDowell's.
he was like,
Moving you.
excuse me, I'm going to have to actually refrain from using profanity in the presence of these people. He was like, who the fuck is this asshole?
Man, Samuel Jackson been in like every fucking movie.
Every movie. Even if you forgot he was in it, he was in it.
He been in every movie. Man.
He was the stick-up man in Coming to America. That's it. Just like 2-minute stick-up dude.
In real life, he was a dope fiend back then.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah, he was playing himself.
There you have it, man.
The best actor you could have. You know what I
I was
mean?
wondering how he captured that character.
Hey, he captured it so well.
Adrian-
How do this?
Adrian, too, don't even believe that he don't like Boyz II Men.
No, I'm sure I don't like Boyz II Men.
It's become a bit for the show. There's no way he
It can be a
doesn't like
bit
Boyz
all
II
you
Men.
want, but it's
Like,
still
it's not
the
even
same.
a real thing. There's no way. That doesn't even make sense. Like, it don't even make sense. Please refrain from using any further obscenities in the presence of these people. Yes, you know, that's perfect right there. He got it right. Who the fuck is this? I've warned you. I will be forced to thrash you.
What's the thrash?
God, that's funny, man. We're not to that point of the show yet. We are not to the point of the show where I can lose my shit. Y'all let me keep it together. Two, there's a video that you want to play. Let me say this, man. I went back and watched, which I rarely do, and I really want to do it more often. I need to do it more often. I went back and watched a couple of episodes of I Said What I Said from last week. And it's cool to do if you can get over how weird it is on some narcissistic shit to just watch yourself talk for 3 hours. It's cool to do because you see like areas of improvement, strengths, weaknesses, that kind of shit.
Studying game film, baby.
And so as much as I think that I can multitask, I cannot, bro. Like, so I like when you be like you be talking and I'm like, okay, cool. I hear what Tu's saying. Let me also kind of scroll through some of the comments so I can respond to that too. I can't do it. Like, I noticed that I've like one of the shows, you was making a brilliant fucking point. And I thought I was with you.
Per usual.
Not per usual. That's why it stood out. That's why
That's a surprise.
that's why it stood out, because it was so rare. But you were making you was making a brilliant point, and I'm in here and I swear I thought I was with you. And then but as I'm watching it, I'm like, damn, I was not there. There was plenty of space for me to jump in and say that, like, I was not. So I'm gonna try and make it a point to not like try to multitask that way, to just be present. Either like we both on some comment shit, or I'm gonna be listening, because it's a weird thing. Like when because then you like, fam, I just made a good. Like you don't say nothing, but it's like, fam, didn't you just hear me make this great ass point? You ain't got shit to say about it. I'm like, huh? And I come back with some shit from the comments that was like 5 minutes ago, and you moved like. So I'm gonna try to be better about that piece. I did notice that while I was watching.
But it's just a skill though, right? And then going back in the comments though is important.
It's critical,
just like it's game tape. But
yeah.
also, man, right now, like I know Maze and Tennille have a conspiracy theory working against me.
For
UK doesn't allow me to comment on anything from anything.
Right.
On any of my devices, I can't comment nothing. Like that's even the stuff that you all are saying in the comments now that's saying from Maze Jackson, that's really from me.
And he came here upset about
He
that.
came in there hating because I'm using his phone to comment.
Hey,
but,
well, y'all,
hey, I don't want to look like I support y'all in
I
no
don't
kind of way.
like a fan. I
don't want to look like a fan, even though I'm a fan, because I'm in the other room listening to y'all right now. Intently. Learn the game. Watch the game tape. But,
So you don't know how to switch to your own account?
No. I can't from my account. That's the thing. No matter what device I'm on,
It won't let
from
him
my
comment
account,
from his
it won't
account.
allow me to comment on anything on what's in it for the Black People page.
Tanil blocked me.
Nothing. Tanil and Maze both blocked me, right? They think they're
I
slick.
used to have
But I
you
know
blocked.
this shit. They did that. I know. Esco was on the team too. She blocked me too.
The whole Ruthie Moore show blocked you.
Right. But they don't understand. I make all of the content better.
Facts.
Look at your own videos. You always be number 2.
It's facts, man. It's facts. Listen, there is a video that sets the stage for, well, I don't know if it sets the stage, but it's a part of the conversation that we want to have and that we are already having. And so if you're ready to play it, man, we can go ahead and pop that up on the screen and see what's to it. I do want to say this, though. While I was singing, I wanted to mention this real quick. My concerts be lit. I had like a 4-hour concert today. I'm not even going to lie to you.
Ooh.
I was at the crib.
In the car?
No, at the crib. I was at the crib vibing
What was
out.
the vibe? Genre.
It was 90s R&B vibes.
Oh, enough said.
Yeah, it was 90s R&B vibes, and that joint was lit. Okay, lit. Shout out to any of my neighbors who might have heard me screaming down the block because I was
going down.
What? I was getting mad vocal, but I was hella productive, man. You ever notice how quickly you can fuck up all of your clothes? Like just make a mess of them. Like last week, I'm sure I wore like 5 outfits last week. But to look in my room and closet, you would think I may have worn like 20 outfits last week. I don't know if it's just shit like, oh, I should put this on. No, I'm not putting it on. But I don't hang it back up. I like lay it across the thing or sit like, and it's like, yo, where the fuck do all these clothes come from? So I spent the morning like hanging shit up, folding up all my hoodies, organizing all my drawers. I had a very, very productive morning while I was having this concert. It was absolutely lit, man.
You're like welcome, my daughter.
You're welcome to anybody who heard me singing today.
You like my daughter, brother. You find clothes in the dirty clothes that you know she ain't put on in 3 years.
Jeez,
she's just too lazy to put her back in the closet. I'd be like, I'm about to strangle your little head.
I'm finding shit. I'm like, whatever. I don't know how this is out. Like, but I did get through it. I put everything away, put it in its proper place. I finally put away like shorts and shit. I had like some shorts and shit. Shorts and shit still on my shelf in the closet. Like, why, bro? You're not wearing shorts for like 5 months, man. Put this shit away. So it was a productive morning while I was singing blessing, South Shore with my vocal aptitude.
So look, this is just really a trailer for Feminists Coming Down. I think it's being sponsored by the Nation of Islam. Q sent it to me earlier, but it's called Buck Breaking. It's a documentary, and I think it plays into the conversation we were just having because there was a lot of men who ridiculed us for standing in our popularity as men. This past weekend, and I just thought it was interesting that this came to my inbox today. So we finna let it rock now.
All right.
Have to understand that buck breaking is a show of power. It's a show of dominance. So we can't talk about buck breaking without talking about power.
When we look at the domination of Black people by the dominant society, what we are in essence seeing is that this society wants to ensure that we are not able to actually mete out that thing that makes humans exist, and that is creating families and procreating.
See, psychologically, when we're talking about the sexualizing of our people, primarily from the dominant society or the system of white supremacy, it had to be established in a very impinging way from the mental state.
This whole notion that masculinity is somehow toxic and detrimental to society is nothing but an attempt to emasculate Black malehood.
It's clearly an agenda. If you have 2 eyes in your head and you're able to see, you can see that it's an agenda, and it's an agenda to decrease our population.
It's always been about destroying the Black family. The family is the foundation of a people.
The heterosexual Black male is last on the pecking order here in America. If you're just a heterosexual Black man, how are you gonna beat the case? Because when you show up to court, when you show up to the job interview, when you show up to wherever, you coming in here as a heterosexual Black man, you have no power.
When Mark Twain confessed that we, white people, ground the manhood out of the Negro? Why ground the manhood out of the Negro? Because it's black masculinity that most exposes the fraud of white masculinity.
Come on.
We, as the progenitors of culture, the ones who are the fathers and mothers of civilizations, who taught all people, who people look to for social cues, whether they want to realize it or not, I think they feel if they can get us to adapt to it, they can get everybody to adapt to it.
If anybody should have a problem with European males, it should be the European female. Because everything the European male has ever learned to do to us, he first practiced on his own woman.
We need resources in education. We need resources in labor. We need resources in politics. We need resources in medical. We need resources in so many things, but they ignore that and they put millions and even billions of dollars to tell us that you need to really embrace your LBGT side. So these people have an agenda, and it's up to us to understand what the agenda is.
Powerful, my brother.
So there was a lot of comments that said that's Tariq Nasheed's new movie, not The Nations.
Right.
So I just wanted to say that publicly. I wasn't clear on whose film it was or whose documentary it was.
Appreciate y'all, per usual, coming through with the physics. Thank y'all.
But a few things that said that, and I know in a lot of ways they was kind of pushing that toward the LGBTQ conversation. But I damn near want to put a challenge out there.
That being?
In a lot of ways, the LGBTQ community is kind of exhibiting greater levels of masculinity than the black male community.
Been saying that for a minute, bro. We can learn a lot from the way they move.
Yeah, but see, we couldn't learn a lot from the way they move. We could learn a lot from just doing some soul searching, right? Because I think they're being propped up in a certain kind of way. So I don't want to make the comparison.
Agreed.
What I want to say is that standing on what's important to you, defending what's important to you to the death, like that is the conversation, right?
That's what I'm saying.
So even to the context of the brothers who were saying, look here, man, I wouldn't be out there. They some goofies. What I look like being out there without no gun? Or what I look like you said, all in the response to fear.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And it is that fear that has permeated and kept us in the position of subservience. You know what I mean? So really, when you have those kind of comments about our behaviors over the past weekend, or any comments that kind of just align with that thought process that you was leveraging, it just really speaks to you a fucking coward.
That's it.
Right?
That's all it is.
And again, it goes back to the same thing I said, though. You create your value set by your proximity to whiteness. And to the point of that in the documentary, the brother from the nation, I can't remember his name. The brother from the nation that they
was in there? Yeah.
He said it's black masculinity that exposes the truth of the fragility of white masculinity.
Yes, indeed.
But you've been so compromised. Instead of exposing the truth of that white fragility, masculine energy, is that you aspire to be a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's sickening, man. It's like the conversation we had the other day when I said the sisters that's selling their soul, selling their ass to get a bigger ass, right? Like the big ass concept is stolen from you, right?
Come on.
They push it out in the lens of whiteness. And now you're mimicking what they already stole from you.
Islam.
Not Reza, is the other brother.
That wasn't
Wesley, brother Wesley.
The light-skinned cat?
Yeah, the brother Wesley. That's the light-skinned cat's name.
Wesley Muhammad. There we go.
Wesley
Thank you, Angela.
Muhammad. But my point in saying that, you're mimicking a caricature of yourself. That's how fucking insane that is. You're going to the doctor to get a big ass, which is natural to our people.
Sure.
To mimic, again, proximity to whiteness.
Sure.
To mimic what they now say is beauty.
Sure.
You're mimicking, you're making a caricature of what you naturally have.
You're going to get fuller lips. Shorty, we are the fuller lip people. Like that's they want to look like you.
They're mimicking
now
us.
You're going to like that's it don't
they're
even make it give me a
us,
headache.
and we're mimicking them mimicking us.
Give me a headache, fam. Just trying to
Think about how
to
fucking
follow that
dumb
transition. It
sounds. That just is fucking insanity.
gives me a fucking headache. For
It sounds fucking dumb. But it's real. And it might be exhibited in a way where we can see it on the sisters with the pump up my jam booties. but it's
Pump
exhibited
up
a
the
different
gym,
way. It's
pump it
exhibited
up.
via that cowardice in black men. It's exhibited in our desire to only have capital gains, and our moniker to follow them through in their scarcity mentality.
Yeah.
Right. So you could it shows up every fucking day. Like it blows me to hear black men say they're capitalists. And it doesn't blow me because of the construct is wrong. It blows me because it's a false idea. Because we don't harness any wealth. And you cannot be a capitalist if you don't harness any wealth. You're just a part of a capitalist system. You're not leveraging the system. You're not conducting the system. You're just a link in the chain. And you don't know the difference. So in that vein, because we live and aspire to that proximity to whiteness, we think the things make us tangibly valuable. If I got XYZ car, and again, it's funny when we have these questions, depending on who you're talking to, our minds usually link into a certain demographic or a certain community. You always hear the conversation about the little nigga with the $2,000 car but the $4,000 rims. You always hear the conversations about the guys that's buying Jordans. You always hear that conversation. Your mind travels there. Your mind travels there because, again, in the construct of whiteness, they've made that demographic the bane of the black existence.
Sure.
You understand what I'm saying? Just like when we was talking about the children, like, yeah, the shorties is just the product of XYZ generation. So I'm saying this to say, let's stop looking at the guys with the big rims. Let's stop looking at the guys with the Jordans. Let's start looking at who we do deem as black executives and black leadership because they move the exact same fucking way. Right? I also want to say, let's stop looking at the children as doing wrong. Let's raise up their parents. Right? Because children, by their very essence, want to aspire to the goals that their parents set before them. So if the parents don't have a goal for them, then they're going to do whatever they do.
Sure.
Right? But the same thing with us. We are looking to the downtrodden to save us. When the elite, if that's the word we could use, of our community, is the ones that's pushing back these same monikers to our communities that this is the way to go. And in reality, it's like we're feeding poison to the sick. That's just not true.
Right.
And we don't give their ass any of the blame. We just fall in line with the moniker. I was listening to No Chill Gill's podcast.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm
GA.
I'm a hoop fan, right? Herb is a big football guy. I'm a big basketball guy. I damn near check out all the podcasts on the basketball side.
Shout out to Gino for always breaking down the nightly clips from Dame Dollar. That shit's always entertaining to me.
But I'm listening to the No Chill Gill podcast, and they got my man on there. What's Tinsdale name? Used to be the coach in Memphis.
Well, who name?
Tinsdale.
Wayne Tinsdale?
I don't think it's Wayne. Might be though. But
Wayne
he's
Tinsdale?
He's a mixed breed kid. He's a mulatto.
Okay.
Right, and they're having this conversation, and he's politically engaged at some level. You know what I mean? And he's talking to Gill and the Gill's co-host, the white guy. And Tinsdale's kind of always redirecting the conversation, no matter what they're talking about. He's always redirecting it back.
Fizdale.
Fizdale, that's what I mean.
Appreciate you, Devin.
David Fizdale, yeah. He's always reverted back to racism.
Good looking out, Gino.
Right? No Chill Gill says, man, I'm watching TV the other day, and be clear about this shit. Gilbert Arenas is a fucking genius in regards to basketball. Brilliant. Like, even if you take him outside of a player, just seeing how his mind breaks down the game in his podcast, if you're a fan of the game, you got to say, man, this motherfucker thinking on a whole nother level.
Yeah, Gill is a monster.
He's a genius in regards to the game of basketball.
That is where it stops, though.
Right? And he says to David Fizdale, he was like, yeah, man, I turned to TV the other day, man, and I'm watching Kamala debate the white guy, and it says Pence, vice president. I was like, man, who the fuck is that? Now, I want you just perspective, right? Gilbert Arenas is wealthy in regards to the context of black people, right? He has millions of people who follow the conversations that he's having, right? If you double back and look at them podcast numbers, it's hundreds of thousands and over 100,000.
Right.
And when he says, I didn't know who the fuck Michael Pence was, this is when he was debating Kamala Harris. which means that you didn't know he was the vice president of this country for the 4 years that he served as the vice president of this country, right? David Fisdale, he heard that shit,
right?
Glazes over it,
right?
And they start having a conversation about how the millennial generation is the greatest generation of black folks, right?
Why?
Because he said that y'all represent strength and intellect that we've never seen before, right? Now let me say this: I full out disagree with that shit.
Yeah, I don't think that's true.
Right? Full out disagree with it.
Not that we haven't displayed it, but certainly not it's the first time it's been displayed.
I don't even think it's been displayed personally, but I'm not even gonna go.
But whatever.
That,
right. I know it's not the
that ain't where we
right,
going, right? But he was saying this in the context because most of the league at this point is millennials, right?
Yeah.
And he was talking about how they move through the league and they got this and they don't listen to coaching and they do what they want to do. And in my mind, it's kind of like the conversation we was having about relationships the other day.
Yeah.
When the sister Jules was like, you should be able to do what you want as long as you're not hurting anybody. And what I'm saying is doing what you want is not a valuable standard. That's my personal opinion. But in the context of them comparing the millennial generation, having this conversation about politics and how Gil is so far removed, and not to shit on my man Fisdale,
right?
But in my mind, he's not really in a position to really have the conversation at that level of the platform.
I dig it.
Right?
I dig it.
He's talking to Gil, who just told you 5 seconds before, I didn't know who the vice president was for the 4 years that he served as vice president. And that's Fisdale is saying the shit he's saying, a lot of shit off base in my opinion.
Right.
Right? The two motherfuckers that are there as his audience, the white guy and No Chill Gil, they're soaking that shit in as gospel because they don't know shit. They don't know shit.
Yeah.
He didn't know who the vice president was for 4 years.
Right.
Right?
Right.
But you can go back and double back and you can see conversation where he was like, let's get rid of Trump. Motherfucker, you don't even know who the vice president was. Why we got to get rid of Trump?
Right.
Right?
For what?
For what?
For who?
For who? For what reason? What value or what is he taking from you? Right? And this is not a defense of Trump.
It ain't about that.
Right?
It's
but
about
then you look at the numbers.
The level of ignorance that we move with.
Then you look at the numbers of people who are tuned into this shit, and I'm one of them. I was tuned in. Right? And you got to ask yourself, how many of these people take this shit as gospel? Because we got to be clear about this too, right? It's not like motherfuckers is going to watch No Chill Gil. I would assume that there's an anomaly happening, right? There might be a third of that community who watches that shit who's going to double back and listen to NPR.
Right.
Or who's going to double back and watch Meet the Press.
Right.
Who's going to double back and read a fucking book.
Right.
The vast majority of people who are listening to that shit aren't. And I'm going to tell you this. The vast majority of people in this country don't.
Right.
Right? The vast majority of people in this country don't.
Any given platform, room, space, whatever, any given place you walk into in this country is a microcosm of us in totality.
But getting back to Fisdale, too. Right? What he was kind of praising in this millennial generation, in my mind, was some capitulating whole shit.
Of course.
But he said it in an articulated manner to where Gilman like, yeah.
Makes sense.
And then I got to think to myself, at least a third of the population who's listening to this shit is going to be sitting at the crib like, yeah, they right.
Probably 2/3. Maybe a third will be like, nah, you wild. You off base.
You're right. Right? And then you multiply Gil's platform by how many other people got them kind of platforms. And you start getting a goddamn philosophy or an identity around being host studs.
Too, if that wasn't true, sir, I said what I said wouldn't even exist if that weren't true. There would be no fucking reason for us to sit here and have this conversation every day. There would be no fucking reason for us to take any of the community initiatives that we take on. Like there wouldn't be a need for it. There is a need for conversations like I said what I said. There is a need for community initiatives like the one Sister Africa and Q put on because the majority of our population believes that kind of shit. Is tuned in to that kind of frequency. If that were not the case, we wouldn't even fucking be here, bro. I would be on somebody's fucking beach, cooling.
Yeah, but it's disheartening and it's detrimental. And part of us being here, at least in my mind, at least while I'm here, is trying to overcome that.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And again, just like standing in front of that gas station the other day, when you look at that shit in totality, it gets to be very daunting, right? It's the reason why we say anything but Trump. It's the reason why we cheer for the Biden administration. It's the reason why we make these kind of backhanded kind of beliefs and ideas that we think are serving us, and essentially they're harming us. You know what I mean? We think we taking medicine, but essentially we taking poison.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And those of us who are here, and that's the goal of white supremacy, right? Anything you're fully confused behind it, right? And it's brilliantly laid out, right?
Damn near flawless.
But I got to believe at my core is that truth has no owners and truth cuts through bullshit.
Truth just is.
Right?
It just is. You can't change it with your bullshit. You can ignore it. You can make it about something else. You can even convince other people that something else is actually true. But you ain't changed what the fuck is true. You know what I'm saying? And that's just where it is. And so when they talk about, you see Catrice like talking about these verbal gymnasts saying nothing, but it sounds pretty. Most don't even realize there's no substance to it. You hear, they saying, we love to hear big words put together nicely. That's what it is. But that is also the very reason that we intentionally add a motherfucker so the ignorant motherfuckers can hear us. Like that is intentionally why we speak that way. So when people come on, they be like, man, I really want to watch I Said What I Said, but y'all curse too much. Cool, get it? Not finna change it so you can watch the show though. You know what I mean? There's intentionality about the way we speak on I Said What I Said, right? And as much as I can appreciate somebody using big words, only if those big words add up to a goddamn. You know what I mean? If you just saying that shit just to say it because it sound cool, fuck you, right? So I can praise and salute King Salim for the fucking words that he uses, but I know that he's very well read, very well experienced, and he's fully committed to this black shit. So his big word usage makes a whole lot of fucking sense. There's a lot of substance in there. But you were just throwing around $50 college words just to throw them around. You don't even fucking know who to, you know what I'm saying? Fuck what you talking about, fam. You know what I'm saying? And it's just useless. I can sit here and drop words if we want to sit here and drop words, but I would rather say, fuck out my face, fam. Because that's the feel of it, right? And that's, quite frankly, that is the vernacular that we need to be using to attract the audience that we are trying to reach. You know what I mean?
The language that we use to communicate ain't even our own. Facts. And I think that's something to focus on, though, right?
Facts.
It's not our own. But then when you place our value system being so closely related to being in the proximity of whiteness, there is a language barrier, right? So when someone gets onto a public platform in any capacity and they're able to articulate an argument, whether they have a confirmed position in an argument or not, just being able to articulate the argument makes that person valuable. Here's what I'm getting at, I guess. You remember they asked me to do Salim's show?
I do.
There was a lot of response to when I did Salim's show, specifically having a conversation with Brother Lance.
Why?
Right?
Indubitably.
Indubitably, right? But there was a response from a lot of Salim's fans who probably had teetered on the line of checking out I Said What I Said, who probably didn't think I could have handled the Salim conversation.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
No, I'm not offended by it at all because I get it. I understand
I understand it.
Right? But again, also, I walk in a plethora of worlds.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm from a plethora of worlds. And as a black man, it is a necessity that we operate in a plethora of worlds.
It absolutely is.
Right? Salim is here. There's no need for two to be the young version of Salim on the I Said What I Said show.
Right.
And then be honest with you, the people that Salim is talking to, I'm not really interested in talking to.
Mm-hmm.
Not a knock on them. I'm just not interested in talking to them.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But I am interested in talking to the shorties at O Block. And I am interested in talking to the upwardly mobile millennials who don't give a shit. And I'm also interested in talking to the Gen Xers who don't give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
Because what I'm saying is the very essence of us being here as alive is it's imperative that we start taking interest and exposing ourselves to every portion of this black life.
It's necessary.
Right? And when I say that, you can't shun the old block guy.
Hell.
But you also can't shun the Clarence Thomas guy. you got to know all them guys, because the war that's set up against you, you're fighting on every front. And if you don't understand your enemy or your opponent on every front, you are guaranteed to get your ass whipped.
Nip say,
and right now, and probably for the ain't no probably, since we've been on this soil, we've been getting our ass whipped. Now we've had moments of clarity in that fight, and we've had growth. But in the last probably 60 years, and this is only from my research and reading because I didn't live those lives, this is the most daunting time of blackness in the American lexicon, and that's even if you include slavery. Because what we don't grasp about a slave was that a slave had intrinsic value. Having a slave was like having a rental property. That makes that shit valuable. Even if I beat it to the ground, I ain't gonna beat it to death because I need this motherfucker to go out in the fields tomorrow.
Couldn't no motherfucking cop kill an unarmed slave? Nigga, you owe me. You know what I'm saying? That was my slave. Don't come kill him. He has value.
To that point, we talk about that shit that happened in the White House a couple weeks ago, and the Confederate flag walked through the White House. Be clear, America paid reparations to the slave owners after the after the Civil War, right? And be clear about this too. The Civil War was not won, it was conceded, right? Shit, and that means something.
It does.
Right? Them hunkies ain't went away. They here and they are ruling. So I got sent this today. I'm not gonna bring it up on my computer because I never emailed it to myself. But I got sent this in a text message from my brother in Dallas, and he sent me a form, a statement of organization, a filing form for a federal elections commission for the MAGA Patriot Party National Committee.
Yeah, buddy. They're gonna start their own political party.
They're starting their own political party.
And guess how many members they got today?
But check game though.
70 million.
Check game. They're starting that party, right? In the context of the conversation we're having, he was like, man, the Republican Party finna be fucked because they finna be disjointed. They finna be competing against each other. I said, no, they're not. Because at their core, whiteness has one rule: dominate the resources.
Just win, baby.
Just win, baby.
That's it.
And I said, and maybe my first response was, yeah, they probably knew that shit 30 years ago. And maybe that's why the Democratic Party has moved so fucking far right. Because the Democratic Party is really just a representation of the Republican Party with a different name. There is no fucking left. Don't you believe that dumb shit? Right? Obama was a centrist where there was no left, which means you was on the right. If you're a fucking centrist, you just in the middle of the right because ain't no left. Right? And until we start to fully grasp those kind of concepts, we in trouble.
Yeah, you got to understand that that's just you just have to further. You at the leftmost point of the right side. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Like it ain't no middle, and it damn sure ain't no left. But I think that like you got to understand that when you're dealing with that. And so you look at them, and again, man, like I can take my emotion out of it. Just like we always talk about, you got to think about this thing from an intellectual space and not from this emotional space. I'm able to take my emotions out of it. And when I do that, not only am I able to think clearly about what I want, I'm able to recognize clearly what the fuck they're doing. And if you recognize it clearly, damn it, it's hard to argue against it, right? For their agenda. It makes so much fucking sense. It's brilliant, right? So now you got them starting their own political party, and they know 2 months ago, 70 million motherfuckers wanted that administration to stay in control of this country. So it just based off that math, I'm gonna say they got 70 million motherfucking members in that party right now. You know what I'm saying?
But here's the 3-card Molly of the game, right? So we'll hear that. Oh my God, the MAGA party,
right?
Our innate fear of white dominance
will cause us to tuck ourselves further into that white shit.
So let me
get deep in this Democratic shit.
Get further ingratiated in the Democratic conversation.
White shit, sir.
While the Democratic Party is raping your ass too.
Yes.
Right? And from a man polarity. And
what
I'm
we need to be
saying,
starting is how we get 70 million on the ADOS fucking party.
Yeah, but in a man polarity, I'm getting to this space and place, and it's a dangerous place to be mentally. It's a dangerous place to be because I'm in this place and place mentally where I'm like, man, fuck all your rules.
Yeah, everything.
Because
they're not even real.
Because it's not
you
real.
Being empowered.
Fuck you. And I'm going to just stand on my universal understanding.
You've been on that for a minute though. I would say for the better part of the last year, you've been on this ain't no right and wrong shit.
It's not, but it's just me.
Mm-hmm.
And where I stand in my polarity, I'm saying, fuck you, zero grade reliance. Right? So you hit your lights on. If I don't feel like moving to the left, fuck you. Right? And I know that's a dangerous position to be in as a black man, but it's in this polarity, G, it's my mind is saying that's the only position to hold.
That's it, bro. You have it's the zero grade reliance. It is the fully. It's the fully understanding. It's the Uncle Walt. It's the nearly fuller. It's all of that shit, bro. Like hell nah. Like you cannot subscribe to that bullshit. You absolutely must push back against all of that shit. It is what is required of us in this fucking moment. It's been what's been required of us since the inception of the American experiment for black people. Like that is the requirement for us because everything else as designed is set up against us. It irks me to my fucking core when you hear like these black people citing all this shit from the Constitution or from the preamble or from the Bill of Rights. Like, fam, understand something. None of that shit was written for you, boy. Like, not a single fucking word of it. Oh, we got this, shut your ass up, sir. When they wrote that shit, you were nothing. Nothing. They upgraded your ass to 3/5 of a person after they wrote that shit. Like, stop playing. Like, but we really think that shit means something. We really think that's something for us to stand on. I'm not saying don't know it. We are what we are. You need to know the shit. But to subscribe to it and be so blindly loyal to it as though it means something for your black ass is asinine. When have you ever benefited from a single thing they wrote in any of those fucking articles? Never.
But the dangerous part about that mentality is that it almost condemns you to death, guaranteed.
And so does the reverse.
Yeah, but there's a big difference between dying a slow death than dying a fast one, right? And I'm not justifying.
And we say that all the time, bro.
Either one, right?
I'm advocating for one of them.
But I say this in the construct of, I got a baby boy,
right?
And we just watched that movie the other night, American Skin, and spoiler alert. I don't give a shit if you ain't saw it. You should have been seen it.
It was good. I saw it. It was real good.
When you start looking at not even just that movie, but let's leverage that movie because some of the themes in that movie are consistent with black life for real. And I'm talking about outside of the police violence part of it.
Another one of those movies that the majority of the movie took place in one setting. I told you I like that about One Night in Miami. Same thing with American Skin.
But again, I just want to look at some of the symbolism of this last movie and how it worked and how it plays out in our real lives. And there's a scene in the movie where my man Nate, what's his name, Parker or whatever his name is?
Sure, yeah, that's
his
his
daddy.
name, I think, yeah.
He just felt hopeless, like it's nothing left here for me to do.
Yeah.
When they vindicated the officer for shooting his kid.
Wow.
And then this city that they were in, Los Angeles County, comes to the mother of the child because the mother and father were separated.
Yes.
And they leveraged the mother to do a press conference.
How about Lil Cuz though?
That was great, but let's stay on the symbolism.
Mm-hmm.
They leveraged, but even I'm gonna get to Lil Cuz too. But they leveraged the mother to come out to quell the violence. They leveraged the mother
always
and the preacher
always.
Right now, getting to that construct of that nearly full of shit. Like
get
you
the
never
mama,
fully understand
go get Jesse
white
Jackson.
supremacy until you fully understand, the nearly full of
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. They leveraged the mother. They leveraged religion. Feed this back to the masses.
Make
quell
them
the
calm down.
violence, shut the fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
Right. In the context of them creating that scene, there was another representation of a young boy who was popping off to the police like the audacity of you motherfuckers to come in here and
ask us to do your motherfucking job.
Your job.
After you killed my cousin.
After you took from me what is most valuable.
Fuck you.
Right? But I want you to be clear about that scene in its totality. Right? Little boy was calling them all kind of motherfuckers, pussies.
Clown ass nigga.
Clown ass nigga, you a goofy Uncle Tom. All that shit. But there's also some nuance in the way the boy was speaking. His voice was cracking. He was crying. He was afraid of that man. He was afraid of the white police officer at the door. Right? But in the energy of the essence of just that young man was probably one of the most masculine scenes.
Yeah.
Right?
Courage ain't the absence of fear.
Also resonated this fear. Right?
Yeah, but courage ain't the absence of fear,
but I
bro.
want you to be clear about something. They did that on purpose. All these things on purpose. It's symbols, right? It's symbols. right? So
Yeah, he kept calling him a weird ass nigga.
yeah, but they leveraged that scene in my mind again. I ain't write the fucking movie, but what I got out of it, right? When I look at that shit, what I see is nationwide Black Lives Matter. That's what I see. I see people who are frustrated, don't really have the answers, and are afraid, and they just vocal. But just being vocal ain't enough. Now getting back into some man shit, because that's what that movie was about. Man shit. The daddy had an emotional breakdown.
Oh, yeah.
Quietly by himself. And then his daddy made a plan. And he executed the plan.
And he got a few good men.
At all cost.
He got a few good men.
Ain't gonna be no motherfucking talking no more.
We don't need 100 million motherfuckers.
I'm going to stand on this regardless of the outcome.
Give me 6 dudes that's about it.
Regardless of the outcome. I'm standing on this. That's man shit. Right? That's Muhammad Ali. That's Malcolm X.
No, you know when
that's Martin Luther King. That is man shit.
You know when you make the decision that he made that morning or the day before or whenever the fuck he made that decision, that's what he was going to do? You know what the outcome to that shit is. 99% chance you know what the outcome is going to be when you make that decision and you make it anyway.
But it's either way, this is what the fuck is going to be.
This is what it's going to be.
Now back to the symbolism. Right there in the police station, the first call was from his old lady.
She's trying to get him to stand down.
Stop doing this shit.
Come back to me.
Come home.
Right.
Fuck all this shit that was going on, whatever that drove us to be in the park.
Right.
Come
home. Right.
Right.
Because they weren't even together. This shit had torn them completely apart.
But check this out. This leads into a conversation I was having with a sister the other day. She was talking about how it was, and this is Kat and Keisha, the ones who did Relationship Friday with us a while back. So they were having a conversation about some sister who's dealing with this brother, and they called him woke, and I hate that shit too. I hate the term, but he's so woke that it irritates me. So my response to that shit was that if your woman ain't a warrior, she would do her best to make you a fucking slave. So in essence, the brother who was with that girl who deemed that wokeness was irritating, in my mind, he need to get the fuck away from her anyway. Right? Because if your woman ain't a warrior, she will try to make you a slave. Now, this is a conversation that we need to have that I know a lot of us don't want to have. Our sisters have been conditioned as well. And their aspiration to whiteness is damn near greater or at least closer than the black male has been offered. So in a lot of ways, we don't think of it like that, but they're leveraging the black woman to make the rest of that warrior class slaves. And it's being done effectively. So we get a Kamala, and she represents black womanhood regardless of her truth.
Sure.
While married to a white man.
She's the face of black womanhood right now.
Right? So her even being married to that white man does what to that black community?
Yeah, the face of black womanhood is married to a white man.
Absolutely. And she's at the queen. At the queendom. You know what I mean? So, and it's not just Kamala Harris. This shit is just an intricate plan. And it's so intricate of a plan that when we start to have the conversation and have the dialogue, we all get offended by the dialogue and don't look for the solution. Because, hey, I'm not the problem. Or I'm not the problem. It's you that's the problem.
Yeah, but no single water drop believes it's responsible for the flood.
It's true. I like that one. I'm still laughing from you.
Anytime, my brother. Go ahead.
That's, you know, we'll get even in about 10 years. But that's real shit.
It's real shit, bro.
Right? And I think that movie beautifully explained it and beautifully showed it. And I think even when the sister was on the phone, if you just look at the nuance of the movie, he wanted that woman, he wanted that family, he wanted that connectivity to his son. And then the police cut off the connectivity, which in turn snapped him back into his purpose in life. Right? And also, like the end, well, I ain't going to spoiler alert at all because the end ends how it ends. But I just think that's, you know, to look at the buck breaking video, we got to acknowledge the truth in it. I think the video itself starts off with, this wasn't necessarily about race. This was about understanding power. Right? And when we look at the context of our community, and going back to the brother Wesley Muhammad's quote, black masculinity exposes the truth in the fragility of white masculinity. But until we start fully grasping the understanding that this shit is about power and not equality, this shit is about power, not equality, right? It ain't even necessarily, we shout about equity. It ain't even about equity. Because how the fuck could you have equity in a product that is owned by someone else?
Right. It's not a real thing.
It's not a real thing. They can give you all the money you want, and then they can decide tomorrow, well, we ain't
Money
using
don't mean
fiat
shit.
currency no more.
Right.
Fuck you.
Right.
Because the real equity is in the resource, and the resources harness the power.
Same thing about the right and wrong situation you were talking about earlier. Right and wrong is just dictated based upon who's in power. And so if the power shifts, then what you think was wrong, nigga, if I think it's right, it's cool because I'm in control now.
I'm in control.
It's cool now. That's all right. Right? I changed that.
Can you whoop my ass, though?
Right. And
if you can't, what the fuck I say goes.
It's right.
It's right.
Okay? You better adjust. Because I ain't gonna adjust.
I don't have to.
You know what I'm saying?
Because you can't whoop my ass.
You say that you hear older people say that shit all the time, and now that I'm older, I say that to like young people all the time. I'm too old to change. You change, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? You get a kid with a badass attitude, and they want to do something different. I'm too old to change. You better change, motherfucker. America is too old to change. We better fucking change, because America ain't changing this shit, G. It's just not. It doesn't make sense. It served them too well. It would be counterproductive for them to be like, you know what? Let's switch it up. You know what? We've been doing this thing wrong for over 400 years. We've been treating y'all wrong. Our bad. We got y'all. Bullshit. That's not a real thing at all. So we better adjust, because America is absolutely not going to adjust. That's just not the reality of the situation. Let's take a break here. When we come back from break, some other conversations that we want to get into. This is I Said What I Said. Shout out to Mama McIntosh for acknowledging the fact that I do not curse. Very, very rarely do I curse on the kickoff kickback. What?
But listen here, Auntie Shelly, you got some shit wrong. Because Ricky Werner didn't do nothing but cuss.
I missed that piece. But, you know what I'm saying?
He just ain't have a radio show.
It just goes back to the point of why we're intentional about cursing here. I get it. I get it if it turns people off. I really, really do get it. And I'm in some ways, I'm kind of sorry, right? I'm not trying to put that in your ear, but I'm not sorry in terms of how we choose to present this show. It is necessary, and it is how we shall proceed. But it's not how we got to talk, right? So on the kickoff, kickback, it don't really make no sense to be like, yo, LeBron motherfucking James and Tony motherfucking Romo and Tom motherfucking Brady. Like, that just don't make sense. You know what I'm saying? So there's just no need for it. So that's not the nature of the conversation. We talking football and sports. Like, it ain't that deep. You know what I'm saying? So there's no need for that. Same thing when you talk about hopping on Salim's show. That's not what's happening there. There's no need to do that. I've sat on Salim's show and had conversations with Salim for hours at a time. I'm not finna, you know what I'm saying? And we've done I Say What I Said on terrestrial radio. Like, we couldn't just, MF this, MF that. So, like, it ain't, you know, this is we do it intentionally here. And, you know, whether that
like somebody said
off or
earlier,
not,
right? We cussing, but it's a language that's not even ours, so why should I be offended either way?
Big facts.
You know?
It is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't. It's going to be what it's going to be. This is
I'm using the language of the oppressor to describe the oppressor.
And fuck.
I'm bilingual.
Okay, that's it, man. I speak English, sarcasm, and cuss words real well. Listen, man, we're gonna take a break right here in the conversation. We will be right back. His name is Tu. My name is Herb. Let's go behind the glasses. As I said what I said.
Greetings, family. I am Salim Muwakil, and I welcome you to Muwakil's World. I'm going to chop it up with Dr. Lance Williams, professor at Jacob Carruthers Center for Inner City Studies, and one of the most knowledgeable scholars of Chicago's street organizations.
During the doo-wop era, you wouldn't be doing no doo-wop about what you was doing in the street. That was improper. What made rap so unique was that for the first time, this is how we actually are living, especially at the bottom. So what happens is it becomes so popular because it's so raw. And ultimately, rappers realize that this is what sells, and this is what the industry wants. So even guys who don't authentically have those experiences, and young women, are rapping about it and having success. And after years of now this happening, it becomes known that, hey, this dude ain't really no real gangster. You know, this is a studio gangster. And what it did was music lost credibility because people thought they were listening to real gangsters rap. The sales of the music, which basically was being consumed by white suburban youth. This was their way of, it was a voyeuristic way of experiencing the hood, which they've always been fascinated with, without actually putting your life in danger. So you can listen to it, but once they found out, oh, these dudes ain't real, then even they stopped buying it. What's going on in the streets today? Because what the industry did was they realized, hey, the studio gangster thing ain't gonna work. So guess what? Let's go get some real gangsters that got the real credibility. But you know, when Chief Keef and these guys, so what we have expressed in the music scene today, when you deal with either, you know, trap down stuff, but particularly drill music is the hot music. That's right. Nationally, right? And internationally. And internationally, right? Which started right here on 63rd. O Block. Okay, O Block. So it's a shooting culture. So that's what they're rapping about, and that's what is hot, right? And so we saw the tragedy.
Fratricide is hot.
Yeah, that's what the tragedy of King Von, right? Of him, you know, he's a real dude. Now what happens is, because that's the model of success, everybody is following that, so everybody wants to be a shooter now. And what it's doing is it's driving a lot of the violence. In any culture, your music and your entertainment is a part of your cultural expression. So whenever you can have an extended period of time of a particular type of music that's having influence, it becomes a part of your culture. That's what Kwabena is saying in terms of his activism. I'm saying basically these radio stations are helping to produce a culture that's leading to the death and destruction of the black community so that they could sell, commodify, you know, their merch, right? But, you know, we losing a lot of little brothers and sisters in the streets because of this, the way they think about things, how they see themselves, which they get from the music. Now, people are like, well, that's crazy that they're being influenced by music. They should be influenced by the values of their families. Ideally, yes. But the reality of the society that we live in is who has the biggest voice. And we know the media is the biggest voice in terms of ideals in the society that we live in.
If that fratricidal motif is being absorbed primarily by white listeners, who's the primary audience, why aren't they exhibiting this kind of behavior?
Because, first of all, it's not their identity.
Yeah, man. Ideas, it's ideas, man.
You don't have to find me. I'm walking right behind you. It's so clear to see that you wanna be free. You don't have to find me. I'm walking right behind you. It's so clear to see that you wanna be free.
Let's go.
Standing my ground, I can't mess around now. It's like my time is in a bottle, captured by your love, yeah. Now I know women's got this thing going on. We can't stay around so long, but I wanna come correct. Baby, get your foot off my neck. You don't have to find me. I'm walking right behind thee. Understand clearly, yeah, that you wanna be free. It's the time that you spend making me think within. Is the trust still beginning? Fade away from beginning of the day. I can see you trembling times, and I can see you wondering mine. Is it me considered? Is you that's with it? See, you don't have to find me. I'm walking right behind thee. It's so clear to see, baby, that you wanna be free. You don't have to find me. I'm walking right behind thee. It's so clear to see, yeah, that you wanna be free, yeah. I'm just trying to be the best I can. You can call me the troubling man. Matter of fact, I'm from the side of the street. Baby girl, you're calling on me at the time that I feel your presence.
What is happening, family? We are back. We are live from inside the What's in It for the Black People Media Studios alongside Toussaint Warner. My name is Herb Howard. This is I Said What I Said. We are working with our sister today. We ain't had a minute to work with Esco in a hot second.
You said everything just runs smooth when Esco around.
It just runs smoother. We talk about Salim, and then the promo for Salim pops up. We talk about building community and being able to converse with one another, and then the promo from school talking about how he was a member in the community when I was growing up. It's
you
just,
pay attention?
Yeah, it's just those little subtle
Lance,
nuances.
and Lance's clip comes up during the break.
Like it's those little subtle nuances. That
Ron, you paying attention?
Sko.
Hey,
She's
Ron,
the absolute best
Lil Ron,
in the world
you out there?
at what she does. Hey, TT.
Hey, TT.
TT. That shit makes me Earl.
Oh, goof ass.
That shit makes me Earl. Hey, TT. Hey, TT. Shout out to Don Millhouse, man. It's always nice on the Mondays when Mr. Millhouse comes in and we talk about how we can diversify our portfolios and expand our business acumen and our footprint, and whether we want to kind of build some businesses over here and we want to turn it down.
Talk in this very monotone sound, and this is what black wealth sounds like. My pockets are very deep, so I don't get excited about very much. When I was thinking about it, you know what I mean. I didn't feel any reason to get excited,
and we closed another.
I'm rich. I'm rich as shit.
$137 million deal over in Hong Kong.
I don't even breathe fast.
From Hong Kong,
I don't
stopped in China.
I don't take deep breaths for no reason.
There, and then we came back over here.
And I came back, and
now we're here, and
I was breathing deep just like this.
Expanding our business, and so we're looking to hire some people. And if you want a job, you can get a job, and we aren't even necessarily. You don't have to be. You don't have to have a degree yet to start. We just
because I'm the boss, I make the rules, and you're right. You don't need a degree.
And,
I'll hire you because you're light skinned.
Then Don was like, how what's it look like when you're hiring new people in the middle of the pandemic? And are they going to be working from home? He's like, hell, fucking no. They got to come in.
They'll have to come in and show up.
Hell no, they got to bring their asses in here. We need FaceTime because
what kind of a manpower force do we have? They're only working from behind their phone and their computer screens.
They know what's going on in this
department.
They
gotta get it. They gotta understand.
They need to know what's going on in that department. They need to know what's going on in all of the departments.
I'll breathe again.
We need FaceTime for them to do that. So,
it goes just like that.
I'm having a blast. I'm tickled to death right now.
It is hilarious.
I'm cracking up.
Inside though, only internally. I don't laugh out loud in public.
This is my laugh.
This is my laugh. Yes, it is.
This is my laugh.
I breathe a little bit harder when I laugh. It's like
Wilbur Millhouse sits front row at a comedy show, and every time he hears something funny, he be like, "Oh, that's funny.
That's a good one. I like that
funny.
One. Let's do it again.
That's funny." I remember it was this comedian, man. It was this comedian who was doing his real set, and some dude in the crowd, in the middle of the dude's set, he like, "Now that's funny," and he was like, "Wait a minute. So you're just gonna announce your laughter?" Like instead of actually laughing, you just announce your laughter. He's like, that's like if you driving and somebody cuts you off in traffic, and you just stick your head out the window like, "Horn!" He was like, nigga, just laugh. Don't say no, that's funny. Like that definitely be Mr. Millhouse. Like, that's funny. Don, laugh for us. Donnie, laugh for us.
It's on you, Don. It's on you. Take it off. It's on you now. Do what you do.
God, that's really good. That's funny. Listen, y'all. I don't know. God, that's funny. I might.
We should interview Brother Millhouse, and we should use his voice through the whole.
Oh,
interview.
Just to see if he laughed at that. He probably won't even pick up on it.
What do you think about it? I think that would be a good do it. I think. Yeah. Who did you hire last year?
I like the way you all talk.
So I hear you all moving out and expanding to Africa. What are you doing here?
Yeah. Right now we're currently in the process of building 1,300 story units in South Africa, and we're gonna be what is that sound, Esco? That's hilarious.
I'm gonna get in trouble for this one.
She got Don talking about I'm gonna get. Hey, see, that's the shit right there. That's the shit. Esco, you the best. Let me stop messing around with this man for he buy me or something.
Oh my gosh.
Listen, I don't know if y'all saw the video that took place last week out in New York. I think it was in Harlem. I could be wrong about that. Sister walks into convenience store, liquor store, one of those ghetto ass bootleg liquor stores you walk in, it's like all bulletproof glass. You kind of like, give me that bottle back there. No, not that one, the other one. No, 2 bottles down, that one. Like that stupid ass liquor store shit. She walks into one of those liquor stores, and there's 3 or 4 dudes standing there, and she says one of the brothers, and you can see him gesture to her on the video, asked if he could buy her bottle of wine. She's like, I was just picking up a bottle of wine on my way home from work, and the dude was like, yo, can I buy the bottle? And she's like, no, I'm good. I can pay for my own bottle. Appreciate you. As she goes to turn and leave, he says something else to her. She responds. She walks out the door. This ignorant motherfucker goes outside and physically assaults this lady brutally to where she's got like broken bones in her face. She still can't see out of her eyes. Like, you damn near beat this woman to death.
One of the guys bit her
Yeah,
eye.
like
her
you trying to
and
bite
bit her
her
forehead.
Like you tweaking,
It's
bro. Like
scary. Guys, it's scary.
like
That's
you.
what happens.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
Like, no, I'm good. Thank you, though.
Yeah,
Hi, bitch.
I've always hated that. Like, even if it's like, even when it's just like you trying to holler, right? And so you didn't darted across the street and you didn't cut through traffic to try and holler, like, hey, check it out, yada, 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 let me get your number. And she's like, I'm with somebody, I can't give you my number, but, thanks, have a nice day type shit. Fuck you then, bitch, you little ugly asshole. And they come back over like, fam, you just damn near killed yourself trying to cross the street to go talk to her. Now she an ugly asshole and a stupid ass bitch. Like, fam, you are a clown. You are a certified 100% clown. There is no space for you in our fucking community. Ain't no space for that. Beat his dumb ass to death. Like that's dead ass how I feel about it.
But
like,
it was like 4 of them,
that,
I think.
That dude, yeah, all his partners, that dude, same as the dude a couple months ago who smacked that girl full force in her face with a skateboard. Kill that motherfucker, fam. Like that, like ain't no reform for that. Ain't no room. We don't got no time for that shit. Fuck dude, he can go. Like that's just how I feel about that shit, man. And to a lot of brothers' credit that's out there in Harlem, there was some video footage and pictures released like yesterday or the day before of all the brothers who showed up at that location. And again, that's just some symbolic shit or whatever. But it was good to see that many brothers come out and enforce it. Like, nah, this shit is unacceptable. We're not really gonna tolerate this shit. But how do we get to a space where that shit is not even fucking happening? Like, why did you think it was okay to fucking punch her and kick her and bite her? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Because she said that you can't buy her a bottle of wine.
And I know shit is taken very literally, so I want to be very clear and understand that I'm never justifying no behavior like that.
Mm-hmm.
But morale is a direct reflection of leadership, right? And that is what the leadership in our community looks like.
Attitude reflect leadership.
In essence, man, that would be seen as like toxic masculinity, right?
No,
I would in essence say it's toxic femininity.
Yeah, that ain't shit masculine about that.
Right, it's the inability to take rejection, and I'm not again justifying.
I hear you.
It's
I hear you. I'm just saying that's
pure whole shit.
No masculinity exists within that action.
It's pure whole shit, hands down. But even in the comments I saw, I think it was Bootsy said, "Where's the Warriors at to beat his ass?" So just maybe a month ago before this, there was a video that came from New York as well, where some man tried to abduct a young girl off the train. He tried to grab her up and pull her off the train like 2-3 times. And it was men on that train with her watching this shit happen, standing there doing nothing. A few days later, his picture got circulated around the viral webs, you know what I mean? And people recognized who he was, and some dudes in New York ran down on him and beat the fuck out of him. This was on video too. You know what I mean? So to assume that there's not a warrior class out there that's representative of our community.
Adrian, how is that? What's masculine about that?
Listen, it's untrue. But because the very essence of our being and our values are attached to such plastic shit, we normalize these kind of behaviors, right? Just like where the kids, we don't even got to use New York. We can use our own community, right? The reason the 2% or 1% of shooters and children is doing, and I'm saying children on purpose, is doing wild shit, have such a rapport in our community, is because everybody's fucking afraid of them. So that 1% of motherfucker can be dominant against the 99, right? But they're only dominant because ain't no men there. Because if a man was there, that 1% motherfucker wouldn't have no value in our community. He wouldn't have that kind of he wouldn't have the gall to stand out and be the young shooter.
Right.
He wouldn't have the gall.
Right. Yeah. No,
Just like them young boys who's in that liquor store are normalized in that community. Just like when that man tried to abduct that girl off that train, even though the rest of them dudes there was not trying to abduct the girl off the train, you sitting your ass in your seat and watching this shit take place, you as guilty as him.
Mm-hmm.
Because as a man, by the essence of what the universe made you be, you are supposed to be the protector of the weaker.
Yeah, that's why I don't subscribe to the thought when we talking about police brutality, when we talk about what happened to George Floyd, and it's like, oh, they was afraid to engage because they the police. No, you're afraid to engage because you're afraid to engage. And you just like you, it don't matter if you watching George Floyd get choked to death and you're afraid to engage, or you watch us stand at the fucking gas station for 2 hours and you afraid to engage in that. Like it's you're afraid to engage because you're afraid to engage. It don't matter if it's the fucking police or if it's a dude beating the shit out of a woman at a grocery store or a dude trying to abduct a girl off a fucking train. You are afraid to engage. You are not going to get involved in that shit because you're afraid. Stand on that and move around. Fuck out the way.
There's a I can't think of what they call it. I think it's the DSM. I think it's the DSM. I'm not sure, but it was a book that kind of explained like all of the ailments in society, all the ailments in society. And in this book, it was like it wasn't up until the late maybe 80s that they even mentioned masculinity associated with black males.
Mm-hmm.
Because before that, they said there was no way that a black man could be masculine, he's been stripped of it for the conditioning and the eons of servitude in America.
Sure.
Like we don't exhibit any masculine behaviors.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Any. And that's the context of the conversation that we don't have. And in a lot of ways we can't have because we don't have the information. Mm-hmm. And context is so important. Mm-hmm. And I see the comments going crazy when I said that this was less of a masculine problem than toxic femininity problem.
Sure.
But because we don't have the context of the context of the conversation, again, we start dealing with issues from where they metastasize that instead of the root of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that keeps the commotion going. Mm-hmm. And the reason why it keeps the commotion going, because part of that design is to pit us against one another. Mm-hmm. So sisters, be clear. I'm not against you in any way. Had I been in that liquor store, I'd have died with you or for you, because I ain't with that kind of whole shit.
Yeah, that shit wild as hell, fam.
And I'm not saying that shit just to talk. I'm saying that because that's the anchoring that I'm anchored into, right? But again, at the same time, to be honest, I'm going to be fluid in conversation and dialogue. And we all got to be fluid in conversation and dialogue, because if every time we hear something as an offense, we can't deal with it because we're offended, we can't grow. We can't grow.
You just
and to assume that you don't need growth would be a misrepresentation of our polarity in this position, in this paradigm. Because we're at the bottom. The only place you can go is up. And if you're not fluid in your understanding, and if you're not open to it, you're going to stay on the bottom.
Yeah, and there's just no time because we're on the bottom, because the situation is so desperate. We just don't have time. I don't really care if you are offended. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like that shit was some fuck shit. Dude need to be stoned to death as far as I'm concerned. There is no place in the community for you, fam. Could we spend some time and see if we can rehabilitate this dude and let him work it off in Miss Johnson's garden or whatever the hell? Sure. But some shit it's just too much, G.
So Nicole Rogers asked, how do men handle their friends when they get out of pocket with women? First of all, I'm going to say this too, though, right? This is also just natural too, nature, right?
Mm-hmm.
The energy that I project is the energy that comes back to me. Mm-hmm. So the vast majority of my friends are going to operate in that polarity.
They aren't under that
It's just not going to happen. So those kind of people flock together.
Right.
So me saying I'm going to handle it this way, truth be told, and again, it's being proactive instead of reactive.
Right.
I project a certain kind of energy. It's the energy that I'm going to get back.
Right.
Right. So my friends are not going to operate in that
not
polarity.
under that act. Right.
Right. So when I'm in the environment where that shit takes place, it's going to be a different response, because those aren't my people. Those aren't relationships that I have.
Yeah. And there, I think it's also necessary to acknowledge a difference, not an excuse, but a difference in the behavior of what we saw in the video when this dude is assaulting a complete stranger versus some of the domestic violence shit that we see, right? Because, and I could be wrong, I don't think that the first time your man beat your ass is next to me in the middle of the grocery store. I don't think that's the first time that happened, right? And so I think that at some point you've begun to accept this fucking kind of behavior. And that is, again, not to say that I shouldn't be like, yo, bro, you wilding right now, because I am still going to do that. But it is to say that I think that even if I intervene right here and stop him from beating your ass right now, risking my own safety, risking my own life, your ass going to be back with that motherfucker in 2 days or tomorrow or to fucking night or next week. You know what I'm saying? This is a pattern of behavior. The first time he beat your ass was not in the middle of the street in fucking public. You know what I'm saying? You've been tolerating this shit for some time. And so that creates a little bit of a difference. But to answer the question directly in terms of how I handle that shit in my friend circle, first, it's not something that's not a common occurrence in my friend circle. That's just not how the dudes I roll with move. Same thing with like deadbeat fathers. I don't condone that shit, fam. You're not finna be my partner, and I know you got kids, and you don't even see the motherfucker. What the fuck is wrong with you, fam? Nah, hell no, we can't kick it. I done seen your kid since the last time you seen your motherfucking kid. Hell no, we can't kick it, fam. That shit ain't none of that shit go. So that's that you don't tolerate that shit.
So again, we got to be fluid in understanding though, right? Mm-hmm. I don't align myself on the side of thought that says there's no space and place that allots for a man to hit a woman. I'm gonna be real with you. I don't align myself with that philosophy. Mm-hmm. And I say that because what you do when you create that kind of a paradigm, what you do is you separate that man from humanity. You take away that man's humanity, right? Because I've said a whole lot of shit in my life before I've had certain experiences. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
And them experiences will push you to like reevaluate all of the shit you once said.
And women couldn't hurt you. Let's go 5 foot nothing. But if she fucking wants to
context, I'm saying this in context.
Yeah.
Right? This is what I'm saying next. Because there's a lot of response back and forth from the comments, specifically from the sisters, about what men's supposed to do. And I'm only saying this in the context of our positioning in America and our positioning in the stance as we are operating in opposition. Right? We cannot be your protectors and your targets simultaneously. We can't be. Yes, it's just that simple, right? So we just had Waddy in here, Ricardo Waddy in here maybe a month ago.
Shout out to Waddy, man.
And he made a statement about a sister that called the police on him and claimed he was had waving a gun at her over a goddamn parking spot.
Which we know in 2020, 2021,
that could have been a death sentence
murder
for that brother. Yeah. That could have been a death sentence for that brother over something as minute as a parking space. And the reason that she called the police because she knew that was the most volatile force she could bring forth. She knew that. Right? She also knew that she would have zero backlash.
Right.
So you can't holler on one end, why aren't you doing this for me? While this is a random conversation that came out of the blue, while treating us like that. And that is not no foreign shit.
Yeah.
You see mothers disrespecting the shit out of young boys in our neighborhoods. And then you expect them to grow in love with you. It don't work that way.
Remember that video? Was it like last year?
And I'm not blaming. I'm saying we are all infected with the sickness.
100%. It's just not about laying it at one person's foot or one group of person. Like it's men's fault or it's young people. Like it's we all have been infected with the same shit, and it takes all of us to overcome it. That's really all it is. And I just when you talk about things like that with the violence and all that and how you respond to those types of things, it's just different because there are real consequences to this shit, right? Like my homie Lil Ron when I was with shorties, he got killed in that. Where's that White Castle? It's on 66th, 67th, and like Racine or some shit like that. Got killed in that White Castle for this very same thing. Some dude beating the shit out his girl. Lil Ron intervened, dude up the pistol, shot him dead in the White Castle parking lot right there. I mean, the White Castle drive-thru right there. You know what I'm saying? Like that's crazy. To this day, I got this other dude I know. I won't say who he is, but anyway, this other dude, he posed a question on Instagram about, should you intervene in these things? And in his caption, he writes this long caption about, hell no, I'm leaving that shit alone. And one of the cases he cited was Lil Ron. Now, I didn't know this dude when I knew Lil Ron, but apparently he did. And so he was like, man, my homie got killed at the White Castle gas station, such and such. And I was like, yeah, you talking about Lil Ron? He's like, yeah, I don't intervene in this shit. And it's like, you know what I mean? Like death is on the table. I get it, but I can't just watch you just beat the brakes off her either, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, fam, you gotta chill. And again, my own personal opinion on this thing is that there is some difference in these domestic things than these perfect stranger things. Some perfect stranger, innocent lady don't even know this brother from Adam walking down the street and you just assault her. I 100% feel like I must intervene in this. You walking with your man and y'all arguing about some shit and I feel like I should intervene. I don't feel like I must, because in my heart of hearts, I think you're going to be back with this nigga. And why the fuck am I finna risk my life? I don't know this nigga. Clearly he's crazy, right? He beating on your ass in the middle of fucking public. And apparently he loves your stupid ass. You know what I'm saying? I'm for real. Like, this ain't the first time he beat on your ass. I'm dead ass serious, G. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not finna intervene in that shit. And I understand how you can get caught in those situations with kids, with houses, with all kind of shit. But at some point, you have to choose your health and safety and your well-being first. And if you ain't made that decision yet, why the fuck do I need to make that decision? You know what I'm saying? Just because I happen to be on the same block as your crazy-ass man going crazy on your ass for the 5th time this month.
It's nuanced, bro. Right?
Of course.
All of
Always.
it is nuanced.
Always.
Traditionally, I don't really want to see nobody unjustly getting their ass whooped.
No, nobody.
Right? And traditionally, my traditional behavior is to respond. What's the word I'm looking for here? It's kind of erratic. Like, it's not even attached to thought. I just respond, and it's not even, again, it's not attached to rational thought. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's not attached to rational thought. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that's the right way to be, because it's probably not. But what I want to clarify is the statement I made is that, brothers and sisters, we are in need of one another. Period.
Yeah.
Right? And we cannot be your protectors and your targets at the same time, and vice versa for the sisters.
100%.
Right? They can't love you and hold you up
while simultaneously being your victim.
While simultaneously being a victim. Mm-hmm. And in essence, the conversations that we have at our core, where they seem so vitriol, and they seem so aggressive and abrasive and
vicious cycle.
Just unwilling to give a damn. It just shows there's these monikers that kind of, everybody paints with this really broad ass brush. It becomes niggas ain't shit instead of this nigga ain't shit.
All the time. I tell people all the time, like, y'all
women
y'all
ain't
do this,
shit
and I be like,
this woman ain't
my
shit.
name Herb, sweetheart. Like, my name ain't them dudes, black men, y'all. My name is Herb. Like,
right. But in that context, though, it speaks to how we, as a collective, view the we.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And there's been ideas marketed to us currently that reinforces this shit. One being our vice president with her Caucasian family. The other being every time you turn a commercial and there's an interracial relationship that's happening, and they living their life. At one level, they're creating a paradigm in your mind where this shit becomes valuable. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it becomes valuable in the context of the American paradigm, because everybody's operating on this aspirational scale. Mm-hmm. And if our aspirational scale, we just do the math, right? 98% of the wealth in America is in the hands of white folks. Whether you openly identify and say, hey, I want to be like white folks, when you want to be wealthy, you kind of identify that with whiteness. Mm-hmm. There's no way to separate it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You don't think of Mansa Musa when you think of the wealth, nigga. You ain't never heard a black person say that.
Furthermore, when you think about what you want to do with your own wealth, it ain't black shit that you're trying to do. Mm-hmm. You want a fucking Lamborghini. you want to live in Beverly Hills. Like, you want to buy white people shit and live next door to white people. You ain't like, oh, I want 100 mil so I can change the fucking outcomes in the black community. Nah, you trying to fucking bounce. Like, let's just keep it a buck. Let's just keep it a buck. I'm not saying that you're wrong for that. I'm just saying, can we acknowledge the reality of the situation?
Yeah, man, it's a totality of sickness, man. Brandon says, I remember hearing and seeing a lady go in on her son while waiting on the bus on 79th and Stony. I had to pull over and address her. You would have never thought that kid came out of her the way she was talking to him. And that's not a unique experience in our community. I've stopped and talked to sisters on the streets who was talking to very young boys in a way that I was like, don't treat him like that, because you're going to break his spirit. He's going to hate you. Mm-hmm. He's going to hate you. Mm-hmm. He's going to hate you and everyone who looks like you.
Yeah, but she already, here's the thing, G, it's a vicious cycle. And that's why it becomes useless to try and blame somebody for it, right? Because it is a vicious cycle. Yeah, he gonna grow up to hate her, but guess what? For all of the care and everything that she provides him, even as much as she already hates him.
She does.
She already hates him. And so when you step in and be like, sister, don't, she hates you too, motherfucker.
That's true.
Like, you look just like the same motherfucker, and he look like the same motherfucker, and I hate all of y'all.
But see, but then let's again.
And so then it grow up, and it's just back and back and forth. It's a vicious fucking cycle
in our dialogue. Mm-hmm. And able to hear these conversations, accept them, and grow through them, right? There was maybe a year ago, there was a viral video, and it must have been out of the West Coast just because of the way the school was set up. But a young black woman came and picked her son up out of school and beat the hell out of him in front of the teacher, and it went viral, and everybody was championing her, you know? And be clear, I'm not one for sparing the rod. You know, if he was wilding, I think he need to get his ass whooped. That's 100%. my thought process.
Yeah, me too.
But there's a how to how you do things, right? She was whooping his ass, calling him nigga, you ain't shit, you would. But see, there's the how.
It's a
matters.
way to do it.
The how matters.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? The how matters, and what ends up happening though, is that because we are all operating out of trauma, because that is what this level of oppression does to you. Mm-hmm. It creates a traumatic experience. Is that you're not dealing with the behaviors of that child, you're responding to the trauma of your own life.
Yes.
And now you're trying to beat out of him the trauma that you carry within you.
That's what
you're trying to beat out of her the trauma that you carry within you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it just it's over and over. But it goes back to the context of even the relationship conversation we was having just this past Friday. Uh-huh. When I was like, you know, when y'all was like, as long as you ain't hurt nobody, it's cool. No, that's not true. Mm-hmm. Right? Because we operating so much trauma, if we do not set a standard, we're just reinforcing our traumas, right?
Yeah.
And the minute our ego isn't fed, we're walking away. From all that hurt that we unloaded on someone else, whether it be physical, whether it be mental, whether it be spiritual, because we didn't have the courage to walk through our own trauma, right? So to think a child is devoid of that emotion, the 10-year-old that's out here carjacking, he didn't get there by happenstance.
You know how much shit got to go wrong in your 10-year-old life for you to be out here fucking carjacking people? You know how shit these last 10 years had to be for you? At 10, dog?
Somebody's comment just went past, but it says their trauma didn't start with them.
Absolutely.
And I agree with that.
That was ROW. Like, it's somebody said earlier, we talking about 400 years of this shit. Like, it goes back that deep. That's why the same conversation we was having at the top of the show. It's like, nah, you can't just start the symptom of the fucking carjacking. Yeah, you got to go all the way back. You got to keep going back until all of the children are well.
But the responsibility of health is your own. I don't give a fuck where it started.
Agreed.
The responsibility is health is your own.
Agreed.
Right? So,
and you can say the same thing about that child who's going to grow up with that fucking trauma and become a shit parent too, and shitty to women too.
It's going to always be, the responsibility is going to always be on you, right? But again, growth is based in your willingness to deal with the pain. And I said earlier that morale is a direct reflection of leadership, right? Our morale is at a shit level because all of our leadership is off. Even at the top levels of our leadership that we aspire to, it is sickness. We are aspiring to sickness. I'm a flat out fan of Jay-Z. I'm going to say it is what it is.
Me too. Right? And I'm not ashamed of it.
It is what it is. But Jay-Z shot his brother, so dope to his mother. That ain't no shit to aspire to. It just ain't.
It's not.
It ain't.
It's not.
But these become the modicums, and this is going to lead into this video I want to play right now. I said that on purpose because this is the transition.
Let me say this real fast, and now this is the perfect transition for this. When you talk about these relationships and how cyclical they are, you got a dude who is pissed at his old lady because she's not showing him the respect and reverence that he feels he deserves. So he's abusive to her. You have a woman who is not showing her old man, like who's attacking his old man because he ain't doing what she think he needs to be doing in terms of upper mobility and provisions and all this other shit, right? And so I'm mad at you because you ain't doing this. And because I'm not doing that, you're not giving me the respect. And so I'm mad at you because you're not giving me the respect. And it's a vicious fucking cycle that, again, goes back to the fucking root. And if we can't get away from that, I don't know how we get away from this. Go ahead, pop the video up, man, and we'll talk about it.
Going crazy. It's on the charts right now.
Go ahead,
2-3 weeks later, a week later after Uzi got on the record, paperwork came out.
What's going
Uzi took down the record off his Instagram. He did another song with Tuzi. Tuzi took the song off Instagram. Crazy. It's on the charts Gilly right the Kid was dancing to the song on Instagram. He deleted the video off his Instagram. A week later after Uzi got on the record, paperwork came. It's like he's getting blackballed right now. You spoke out about it. Hold on. You spoke out about it, and I posted it on Say Cheese.
And it's
everybody going in on you.
They didn't blackball Game when he child molested that 15, 16-year-old girl that he just got sued for. That nigga fucked the baby. And got sued and lost. They had evidence and showed that Game with the butterfly tattoo on his face that he molests children. He's a pedophile. And he walking around with his chest still stuck out, hollering, and everybody still love him. Right? So here it is. We can go on and on. Young Buck been caught with a tranny. Tranny come out and give us proof that the boy been with a tranny. Dwight Howard, another tranny come out. So y'all gonna tell me this little boy at 13 years old witnessed a murder that usually traumatized adults, right? Even if an adult walk in and see a dead body, they don't even have to witness the murder. Just seeing a dead body would traumatize a killer, right? Killers have dreams. So you mean to tell me this 13-year-old kid witnessed his brother, right? From what I read, it was his brother, while his mom was there. So him and his mom witnessed this murder together. He's not a street kid. He wasn't raised in the streets. He don't know anything about standing on those street codes and principles. And I don't know many 13-year-old kids who was taught to do that. So you mean to tell me and my mother witnessed a murder at 13 years old, and my mother take me down there and say what she saw and say, baby, you say what you saw, and you niggas is telling this kid that he should have went against his mama? Is that what these niggas telling us, my nigga? That's how you know these niggas ain't been in the streets. That's why I hate these niggas. That's how you know these niggas ain't been in the streets. I ain't never heard this kid's song, Corvette, Corvette. I ain't even finna go listen to that bullshit. I don't even know who the little boy is. Don't know nothing about the little boy. My right hand to God, I ain't never heard a Uzi Vert song that I can say that's Uzi Vert. But I know he a sissified looking nigga that put fingernail polish on his motherfucking nails and wear dresses. How you gonna talk about something, nigga? Most you niggas, man, come on, homie. They ain't never witnessed no killing to say what they would or won't do. Whack 100 spoke on it. Whack 100 and Game is the best of friends, and Game is a known, proven pedophile child molester. So we go embrace the child molesters, right? And say, okay, that kid done something. How old is he now? About 20?
He's 19.
19, 20?
Yeah.
Okay. He ain't done nothing since he been an adult. It's a whole lot of niggas got booty with their boy cousin and they was boys. And somebody caught them getting booty and had to tell them boys don't get booty. For real, homie. There's some niggas used to get booty with their girl cousins when they were kids, hunching. When the grown folks left you unsupervised with no parental supervision, the kids go off and get booty. Niggas ain't getting booty with their cousin grown, is it? I know some niggas is. They cousin stripping at the strip club, and she one of the baddest strippers, and they go try to get at her. I know some of her uncles try to go get at her. We ain't talking about that though, but we want to shame this kid for something he did with his mama. Man, I'm sick of these hip hop niggas. Get it, the kid, Uzi Vert. I don't even know who Uzi Vert is. He ain't never shot no Uzi to call himself Uzi Vert. He ain't no Uzi tote nigga. He ain't the nigga known in the neighborhood for the Uzis. How he get the name Uzi Vert? We done get this nigga a pad. I hate these rapping niggas because the rapping niggas is imitating niggas like me who almost threw our life away for the bullshit. We realized we was tricked. I'm trying to tell the kids, listen, say, nigga, y'all don't have to wait to get to the penitentiary to meet the real niggas who these niggas is emulating, and you go realize that these niggas done been tricked. Everybody, when they leave visitation in prison, get naked, kick their feet up, and spread their booty open so that white boy can look for contraband. All of us done it, nigga.
Keep it a buck.
They ain't telling the babies that part.
Keep it a buck.
So I'm saying, no, leave that boy alone, man. Let him rap. And don't try to kill his career, man, because you niggas didn't get to be gangster as y'all was kids. Y'all didn't really get to be gangster. None of us did, homie. None of us did. We just needed a hug.
A lot of people call you a hypocrite because of your delivery. You know how you just said to keep, it's how you say things, it's how you approach things. You came at Uzi and Gilly super disrespectful.
Yeah, I did. With every intent to.
Yeah, but
said it and I meant it,
I ain't trying to make friends with these niggas, homie. They got super disrespect. Name me a rap lyric that's respectful. Name me some music that these niggas make that's respectful. How in the fuck they go demand some respect when they some of the most disrespectful motherfuckers to the black woman we ever seen? How? And not only are they in it in their lyrics, they in it in their actions. Future got 12 baby mamas, just putting babies everywhere, ain't raising none of them. Niggas just making fatherless babies everywhere. When all the statistics say fatherless children, nigga, is at the greatest detriment. How this nigga doing this? So listen, this is what I'm telling everybody. Nigga, fuck what I say. Nigga, look at what I do in real life. You niggas getting stuck on what I'm saying. You niggas falling in love with the Mackin, nigga. You niggas falling in love with the Mackin. That's for the hoes, nigga. You niggas falling in love with my conversation. Nigga, look past the conversation and look at what I do in real life. Nigga, I feed the village. I told you, nigga, that nobody buy no Christmas toys. I adopted families, nigga, for Christmas before I went to Miami. So, nigga, I done earned the right to sit up and talk to you, nigga. You nigga been disrespecting the black woman, disrespecting the community. You niggas holler about putting drugs in women drinks, fucking them. Pimp C say I'm gonna kick in the door, rob the nigga, fuck his main honey. I'm looking at rape. I'm looking at kidnap. You niggas just done everything. Now here it is, somebody telling y'all, fuck you niggas. Y'all ain't none of that shit y'all say y'all been, and y'all done us bad for too long, nigga. Now I'm wrong? Man.
I want to stop it right there.
Hey, that's the first time I've seen dude pop off about anything. But damn it, salute to you, OG. I fuck with it heavy. I fuck with the energy. I fuck with the delivery. I fuck with the thought process. And more importantly, I fuck with the gumption to say it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I ain't trying to make friends with none of these niggas. Fuck them niggas. I said what I said. I'm standing on it, fam. Period. Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me where I'm wrong.
So he got some other shit that I don't agree with, but, you know, that's neither here nor there, because just like you said, I don't fall in love with the messenger. I fall in love with the message.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And I agree with him, right? But I also think he's just a representation of us that had a moment where the way he spoke, it caught on. Right? And that's essentially what I'm saying is what he's just saying, man. Because the people he talked about, if you look at them in the lexicon of black life, they become the power source because they are the beacons of wealth in our community. And what I'm saying is morale is a direct reflection of leadership. If them is the beacons of our community, then how could you expect a healthy community?
You can't.
Same shit.
You can't. It's insanity.
It's insanity, man.
Yeah.
But see, we can't clap and cheer for them and praise them and say these are the definitive of our goals,
right?
And then get mad when your little ass 10-year-old son is running up on niggas, running them out their car. Because Jay-Z so dope to his mama.
Right.
Jay-Z shot his brother over some material shit.
Right.
Future does have 12 baby mamas.
Right.
And we talking about Sierra and her son and Russell Wilson as sissies or gumps.
Right.
Make up your motherfucking mind.
Can't be both, goddammit.
You can't have it both ways.
Nah, you got to pick and choose, right? And
you got to pick and choose.
When he talking about, I'm like, man, I'm not tuned into that. I don't care about these, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't even know the fucking record that he was talking about, right? But it's a little fucking boy, and you just don't treat a little boy this way. And you a bitch ass nigga to demand something like that of a little boy when you don't live like that.
Right. Exactly. That's the thing. Like y'all not even popping off about this shit y'all doing. Y'all trying to see these shorties get fucked up out here. Like that's really what y'all on. You not living that. You just hopping in the booth. You go grab some liquor. You go grab some weed. You spend the whole damn night in the studio, and you come and when you in there, you think you a fucking gangster. Fam, ain't a gangster bone in your body.
Even if you ain't living that, you speak it and you glamorize it because it's the only position the white man will allow you in this paradigm.
I remember when people was
you
coming
can
out.
be a caricature of yourself, but you have no other value. Black women get a big booty and mimic the other booty that you was born with.
Your value is to serve my purpose.
You are a goddamn show act for me.
Yo, it's to serve, and even more than that, you're serving my purpose of demeaning your people in your community.
Absolutely.
Like on a large scale, I can get you to deliver this message to all these motherfuckers. So when you hear Future come out and say, "Man, I don't even do Percocets. I don't pop none of them fucking pills." Fam, you got a song blaring across the fucking world to say Percocet, Molly Percocet. You got a song called "Welcome to the Xanny Family," fam. Talking about popping Xanax pills. So if you don't do that, right?
Even if you do that.
Even if you do, but especially if you don't, right? You don't do it because you know it's some bullshit that should not be done. But at the same time as you know you shouldn't be doing it, you telling the whole culture and an entire generation younger than you that that's what they should be fucking doing. Fam, you wilding right now. You wilding right now. Like all that shit, all of that shit, man. At a point in my life, I had a fairly close personal relationship with Dwayne Wade. I haven't seen him in years, but it'll be love if I did. That being said, when motherfuckers was like, "Nah, he's wilding with this, his son is his daughter shit," I'm like, hell yeah, he's wilding. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if your son is gay and your son grow up and decided he want, cool, but not at 10, fam. Not at 10. I'm not finna beat on you either. Like, you better like girls. No. But you also are still my son, fam. You're not finna be my daughter in here. Now you grow up, you know what I'm saying?
If your woman is not a warrior, she will force you into slavery. If your woman
she ain't
is
said
not
the mother.
a warrior,
He said your woman.
She will force you into slavery. Because we are all interconnected and we must begin to realize that we are at war. But because we are ignorant, right? You ever seen that goddamn plastic balloon to be on the corners to be swaying like this?
Have the wind blow.
Right? He sways like that because he ain't anchored in the shit. He ain't anchored in the shit. There's nothing controlling him except for the wind. And he's going to move in whatever direction the wind pushes him. And because we're not anchored in shit, which is an identity that we're missing, and because we miss the identity, our anchoring is in aspiration of materialism, i.e., whatever the media is promoting, i.e., whatever culture we create, i.e., whatever the internet, radio, television is telling us is valuable. Right?
Yeah.
Me and you just walked in here, the motherfucker in here the other day, and we saw a little chick riding down the street in the Maserati. I was like, man, that's sweet. It's interesting to see what types of us have Maseratis. Because we know the ticket on the Maserati. Right? But the Maserati, as we was walking in the door, I said, yeah, that's a shit car, though. Piece of car. Right? Jaguar, piece of shit car. Mercedes-Benz, shit car. You can go down everything that you value. Piece of shit, and you're buying the logo because someone else told you it was valuable. The motherfucker who, the elite motherfucker who drives around in that big body Benz that you value, he got 6 other cars, so he ain't got to depend on that bullshit. But if you, who live on 79th Street, got that shit, and when you got to get somewhere in the Chicago winter, you better have some shit that's gonna turn over.
Yeah, or when it breaks down, because any small thing go wrong in that car, it's costing the arm and the leg. I don't give a fuck what it is. The little light in the console, like all that shit is going crazy on the ticket, right? And the rich motherfucker, they can pay that shit, whatever. Yo ass is smoked when one of them shits go out. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, it just is what it is, man. But you know, they kind of, you talk about these rappers and shit, they believe that shit. Like they really, like they caught up in the celebrity and the status of the shit. Before Lil Uzi Vert, like I guess now I would recognize his face if I saw him, but I saw him some years back, like maybe like 3 or 4 years ago. I saw him and I I had no fucking idea who he was. It didn't mean a piece of any fucking thing to me. And he looked at me like he wanted to fight me. And if he thought it would go well, but he was fucking like this big, if he thought it would go well, he wanted to punch me in my face because I walked right up to him and I was like, yo, what the fuck is going on? Because I'm at this music festival, right, in LA. I'm at this music festival in LA called Flognaw. Tyler, the Creator, puts it on. Anyway, I'm walking from one stage to the next stage. And as I'm walking from one stage over to the other main stage, there is literally a wave of people, and they're all running and screaming, coming in my direction, right? And so I'm like, you know me, I just pause. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Like, cause I go to I don't need to know what's happening, but I go the other way too. Except there's this one dude who is closer to me than this mob of people are, and so as he's approaching me, cause he's coming this way too. I'm just like, yo, what the fuck is going on? Like, what the fuck is everybody running and screaming for? And he looked at me like I was trying to disrespect him. Like, nigga, nigga, you know who I am? And so he kind of leaned, he stopped, he leaned up against the gate right next to me, and then all those people came running up to him, like, and I was like, oh, they couldn't see you. And I was like, so I'm just moving out the way, trying to get to the back of this motherfucking crowd. Nigga, I don't know who the fuck you are. I'm not trying to disrespect you at all. I'm trying to make sure that we don't need to get the fuck up out of here. But he was pissed. Like, he was not happy that I didn't know who his purple head ass was. Get your ass out of my face, boy. You just look weird to me. But what these people screaming and yelling for is my question. He was mad as hell.
Goofball shit.
He was mad as hell.
But I want to respond to Mary, too, though. She asked me about what would that quote be in regards or in reference to women. I think that's what the question was. Mm-hmm. But I would say when women are in that proper polarity, they will birth the revolution. Hands down, right? So, and that goes back to the context when I say,
the future is female.
Not even the future is female, that I'm a student of Amos Wilson, right? Women, by the essence of just being born, womanhood is a maturation for you. No matter what, you will grow into womanhood, God willing, right? Because your very essence is to birth the next generation, right? While manhood is something to be achieved. We don't just grow into manhood. That don't just fucking happen. Right, which is why you hear the statement when they say a woman can't raise no man. Now, some people get offended by that statement, but the reality of it is that this shit is not nature, it's nurture. You don't just grow into manhood. You have to achieve it, and you have to achieve it by striving for it by someone who sets the standard before you. Right? So if I'm a student of Amos Wilson and Amos Wilson says you cannot become a man until you master the environment which you inherit.
I'm in constant pursuit of mastering my
environment.
I'm in
constant pursuit of mastering my environment because my innate value, whether we acknowledge it or not, is solely attached to how I maneuver the environment.
Absolutely.
So to become a man, I got to master that. Right? And what we think is mastering it is, again, what I've been saying all day, is our proximity to whiteness. But that's because we've confused the goal line. We've made the goal line about things instead of spiritual health.
Yeah.
We've made the goal line about capitalism. We've made the goal line about attention rather than love. Right? Because when I got the Bentley, you gonna look at me, motherfucker.
Yeah, I mean.
But when I got love, you gonna feel me.
The goal is to use things to uplift people. We flipped that on its head, and now we use people for the achievement of the gathering of things, right? We'll use people for things. Like, that ain't how that shit's supposed to work, fam. It's supposed to work the other way. You know what I'm saying? But we just kind of do that shit differently, and it's an indoctrination. It is an indoctrination that we are hook, line, and sinker beholden to. Like, it just is what it is, and until we
decide different, and that just takes a decision.
Yeah, but there's a prerequisite to making that decision, bro. You got to know that it's fucking happening. Like, dead ass, I don't think that the majority of us even realize that this shit is happening. Like, we think that we just want a fucking Louis bag or a Gucci belt. We don't tie it to any fucking thing else, though.
I don't disagree with you, right? And that's why I say morale is a direct reflection of leadership. Because that's what the leadership is pumping to us as valuable, right? Now, I've been blessed, and I don't never, ever minimize that blessing. I've been blessed to have a father in my life that knew better, right? I fully understand that. I'm fully thankful. I'm ingratiated in that philosophy.
Ain't that crazy that even that's a head start?
Oh, absolutely. I definitely
just having parents who give a fuck is a head start.
I started above the scratch line. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I learned how to read.
Do you feel me?
Let me say this, man. Rest in peace to my Uncle Joe who passed on last night. But and even only bring that up.
The one that they put on hospice the other day?
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
I went in to see my Uncle Joe the other day. Mm-hmm. And, you know, he was detached from his body already.
Sure.
Right? And me and my cousin was sitting there and he was talking to him. And I recited a poem to him off the top of my head. But it was a poem that I probably learned when I was 10 years old from my father forcing me to read every night. You know what I mean? So I absolutely acknowledge that I was born above the scratch line because my parents gave a fuck about me. Right? I was born above the scratch line because my parents, my father, and this is no knock to my mother, but my father was informed about the world beyond 95th Street. Right? He had an understanding that was more in depth about masculinity, about race, about a whole lot of shit. Right? And he made it his duty to make sure I was paying attention. Right? And I value that. Right? Which is kind of puts us in the context of what I was feeling at that gas station. Mm-hmm. Like, this shit is kind of hopeless. I know that I rejected all that shit my daddy gave me until I was in my 20s. Mm-hmm. I rejected all that shit. Fuck what you talking about. GD to the world blow up. I'm finna get this money. I'm out here with my guys.
On Larry.
I had the 87 colors with Billups steering wheel and Billups rims. I had that shit. Right? I wore the $150s. This ain't the first time I had braids in my hair. And the other time it wasn't on some COVID shit. Right? It was on some identity shit or some identity conflicting shit.
It meant something.
Right?
Back then.
Either way, though, I was fully ingratiated in the lie.
Yeah.
Fully ingratiated in the lie. Right? And maybe it ain't even a lie. Maybe it is just the journey for a young warrior.
It just is what it is, dog. And,
right?
and it's not even valueless.
And as you grow, it's not valueless at all. Because as you grow and get exposed to more things, your perspective should fucking change. Because that's the purpose of growth.
Right.
But because I came up through them kind of ranks, I ain't afraid of them.
Right.
Matter of fact, I see them as me.
I understand exactly what's happening here.
And I know that the lie is so pervasive that the guys that y'all mimicking, I've been in scenes with, just like you said, the dude, whatever his name was, Lil Uzi.
Sure.
Right? I've been in them scenes in close proximity to them guys, and I know they not who they say they are.
Hell no.
At no level.
Hell no.
At no level. They scared to look outside.
What?
They not who they say they are. Right? No. But I also know that their influence is real. Right? I also know that their influence is real. And I'm managing, or I'm leveraging them as the moniker. But I also been in rooms with high-level executives who another demographic of us aspire to be like. And I know they ain't real either. I know that even at our highest level, we're still subservient to some white person.
It's all cap. The whole thing is cap. So everybody that is a player within it, they got to be capping.
So what does freedom look like?
Freedom.
It looks like letting go of the lie.
That's what I'm saying. It's freedom. It's freedom for me to fucking just be and think and just be me. Can I just be me? Can I not be me beholden to this? Me beholden to that? Me beholden, like just me. Just fucking me. Let me be me and you be you. That is what we were designed to be. But instead, we are all here trying to be the same motherfucker. And that doesn't even make sense. We don't have the same skill sets. We don't have the same interests. We don't have, like, why would we be trying to be the same person is crazy as hell. Like, it just don't, why is BT going so hard right now on this game? That's funny as hell. But nah, like, so even the shit that you get from growing up like that, like, I'm 34 years old. I ain't nobody's fucking gang banger. But the shit that I learned from being a fucking gang, like that shit is entrenched in you. Like it's there forever. And so hell no, I'm not finna stand on nobody's fucking corner. Hell no, I don't give a fuck which way you wear your damn hat or what color you got. I don't give a shit about none of that. You know, I didn't really give a shit about it then, right? But I definitely don't give a shit about it now. But some of the things that I got from that are very, very valuable to me to this day. And I still be 7-4 this. I walked in the studio today throwing up the rakes at Gino just because.
But for me, what it represents, though, is that class in the black community is a fallacy. There is no separation. Because, see, that top CEO right now, he lives on 47th and Cottage Grove. Now, them houses is XYZ millions of dollars, right? But 2 blocks down the way, them little niggas get it popping.
It's cracking.
Right? Your daughter go to the store where them little niggas get it popping.
It is
She
cracking.
playing the park where them little niggas get it popping.
It's cracking.
You're not separate, fam. And you're not separate because the whole of us have not achieved what it means to be men. Conquering the environment. So even at the top of your mountain, it is the foothill of the white man. At the top of your mountain, it is the foothill of the white man. So to be at the top of your mountain as a positioning to look down on the rest of us, to shit on us, is a valueless position.
Big facts.
Because even at your top, you're at the bottom of everybody else.
Not a real thing, man.
Right? So our mindset stuck in aspiration is what the word I was really looking for. Even aspiring to our top is it's a minute version of the top. We don't even understand how. The Chris Rock joke. If you really knew how much money these white people really had, you'd be in a perpetual war. There's a reason why I'm Chris Rock and Jay-Z and Mary J. Blige live in this neighborhood and the motherfucking dentist is our next door neighbor. Even at our top, we at they fucking foothill. So you ain't at no fucking top. Right? Stop being the king of this little bitty ass backyard swimming pool. This ain't even in the ground. This is a swimming pool you buy from Target and fill it with the water hose.
People love to be a big fish.
When there's an ocean out there.
People love to be a big fish.
Aspire for the ocean if you're gonna be an aspirational motherfucker. Take over the world, not the block.
It's why you see one fine ass woman hanging with a bunch of ugly women. You know what I'm saying? It's just people like to be a big fish in a little pond. It's why you see niggas stunting on their own partners. If you stun on your own partners, you want to you've been the richest nigga in your crew for a long time. That shit is whack.
The one value though about the streets,
elevate your crew or get some new fucking friends.
The one value about the streets though is that the motherfuckers who pretending usually get weeded out.
Yeah. Oh hell yeah.
Right?
The streets is
the
gonna
motherfuckers
expose
who
you.
pretending usually get weeded out.
The streets is gonna expose you.
Right? Because it's consequences to behaviors in the streets, and those consequences usually reverberate physically. It's consequences, right? So the motherfuckers who really not about whatever, and I don't even mean about, and when I say the streets, I just mean really black life, because you ain't got to be doing shit illegal. Here's a lesson I had to teach my son, because his world was really based in the internet in a lot of ways, right? Got into a conversation with one of his best friends. Best friend put them bees on and beat the shit out of him, right? Now, physically, my son is stronger, but he just ain't from that world. So that aggression,
that willingness to engage,
but that aggression from my other, and he my little nephew, that aggression from my little nephew that my son hadn't experienced confused the fuck out of him, and he got his ass whooped. So we had to come home, we had to regroup, and I love that little boy like he my own too. But I told my son, you gonna have to go back out there and whoop his ass eventually. You're gonna have to deal with this eventually, right? And that ain't wrong, and ain't nothing wrong in that. You can still love him, right? And I said, but this what your dumb ass got to learn. You could talk that shit on that internet or that Instagram, and ain't gonna be no response.
Everybody got a plan till you get punched in the
But
mouth.
in real life, you got to decide, is you gonna be the nigga that talk shit? Because if you do, you better learn how to fight.
Quick.
And if you're not gonna be the nigga that can fight, you better learn how to shut the fuck up. You got two options.
That's it.
You gonna learn how to fight, or you gonna learn how to shut the
Throw
fuck
these
up.
hands or shut the fuck up.
That's it. Because otherwise, you're gonna be a victim in both instances.
And you cannot hesitate.
So see, that game weeds out the bullshit. This other shit lets you pretend, and the act gets so goddamn big, and the stage of the performance becomes so wide that everybody becomes your fucking audience, and we dumb, and we buy into it. Because there's nobody there that can put hands on your motherfucking ass, because the audience is 60 feet away. But the minute the audience get close up on you, you figure out, wait, this ain't really this uncut diamond that I thought it was. This shit got all kind of flaws in it.
Completely.
And what I'm saying is that the paradigm is based on the flaw. And we got to get back to the truth.
Yo, Devin, you are right on target. We have reached the end of the show. Esco, can you please cue up Test Your Work so we can get up out of here? Listen, man, thank y'all so very, very much for tuning in to this Monday edition of I Said What I Said. We greatly, greatly appreciate y'all. Thank y'all so much for always coming through with y'all comments. Thank y'all so much for always contributing to the conversation. Shout out to everybody watching on Facebook. Shout out to everybody watching on YouTube. And if you're coming back to watch it later on this evening, we appreciate y'all checking in too. Thank y'all so much for continuing to rock with us, continuing to grow this particular conversation. This has been I Said What I Said. Thank you to the one and only Sonia Escobar doing all the hard work behind the glass. For Toussaint Warner, my name is Herb Howard. We will see y'all back here tomorrow.
Esco, take us out on Test Your Work. They requested it.
3 p.m. We'll see y'all then. Until then, y'all
Salam
be good to
alaikum.
each other. Test this work. Yeah. I'm going to pop bottles in here to this one day.
Let's do it.
Turn up.
I'm finna stand on this
About
table.
that life. About that life. Really about that life.
Let me test your work. Let me test your work.
Talking breezy, let me test your work. Cam, you the man, let me test your work. Dre and Snoop like that chronic.
I need something stronger.
Molly cute, that's like an aspirin.
For my daughter.
Big time, in the club, with a case of Ace. And I sniff that whole table.
Scarface.
Another court case. I'm a frequent
offender.
Where Wyclef was hot.
I was gone in November.
6 years. Hard time. Bobby was fucking up.
Whitney could have been mine.
We would have been
so high and so in love.
When Amy Winehouse died, I could
have saved her.
I could have smoked
like half of that.
She wouldn't have had to go to cardiac. Arrest. Hands up under her breast. Hey.
Birdie. You can get that from Fergie.
Me and Charlie Sheen. Few Playboy bras. I was high in Rock Ford. Brick after brick.
Like Shaq at the free throw.
What?
I stay hard. I put coke in my pee hole.
Cut it off. We going home.